Very good. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the regular July meeting of the Concord Zoning Board of Adjustment. For the most part, we will follow our usual procedure this evening, which is to say we will call the cases in the order in which they appear in the agenda. We will ask the appellant to come forward and give us whatever testimony he or she would like us to hear. We do request that they keep their testimony to 10 minutes. After that, we will ask the appellant to step down, and we will solicit testimony from anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard in favor of the appeal, followed by anyone who wishes to be heard in opposition. We ask that those people confine their testimony period to 5 minutes. After all of that has been heard, we go over to planning to find out if there's any input from their office that we need to hear. And then if anything has been offered that appears to bear factual clarification, the appellant will have the opportunity to offer that clarification, not new arguments, prior to our closing the public testimony portion of the hearing. And under most circumstances, the board will act on each case prior to moving to the next. We do have one change in the order of things tonight because we have an alternate member sitting on a case. We're going to move it to the front so that they can hear the case and then leave us so we can get on with the rest of the meeting and they can get on with their evening. So that first case that we're going to hear is 4.13 in the agenda. Associated Enterprise, Inc. They're requesting a variance to allow for a 20-foot driveway width where 24 feet is required for two-way traffic flow at 103 North State Street in the Civic Performance CVP District. Is anyone here for Associated Enterprise or Enterprises?
Chris, before we start, can I make a motion that we accept the staff's recommendation that none of the cases before us tonight are of regional impact?
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you. Good evening. Would you identify yourself for the record as you testify, please?
Yes, Craig Jones with Inscription Architects.
What would you like us to know, Mr. Jones?
Which cases?
I'm going to let my engineer take it.
Oh.
Good evening, Josh Klein, the Site Civil and Traffic Engineer, Stonefield Engineering and Design.
Okay, fill us in on why you feel a variance is appropriate.
Of course. I'm just going to pull the plans up and kind of walk through what we're doing this evening. We're here tonight seeking a relief for the driveway width, so a variance to allow the driveway width for 20 feet. The project as a whole, this is an adaptive reuse application to kind of incorporate housing and an opportunity to kind of clean up the site. So as part of the project, the building shown in the upper left-hand corner is the existing building to remain. It has an existing access point to North State Street that consists of stairs. There is a, on the right-hand side, and I can point to it here. So this is an existing entrance to the facility. There is a ramp and handrail there. It's not ADA compliant today. And there's no path from the public right-of-way to this entrance on the side of the building. So one of the challenges that we had to kind of come in as part of this application is we want to ensure that there's ADA accessibility from both the parking spaces on site as well as the public road, and kind of respect the existing front of the building as well and kind of the improvements that exist there today. Today it's about a 16 to 17 foot wide driveway. I drove it even this evening kind of in both directions. It kind of operated previously as a commercial use. So we're kind of following that existing driveway really based on zoning limitations. There's not another way to access the parking in the rear of the property. Today, again, there's a parking lot in the rear. We're just going to be updating it and kind of bringing it up to code, both from a landscape perspective as well as repaving it. So the relief that we're seeking is to allow a 20-foot wide two-way driveway where 24 feet is required. 20 feet we feel is safe for vehicles to enter two-way, to enter in both and exit in both directions. A large Jeep Grand Cherokee and Escalade is about 6.5 feet wide, so plenty of room in those two 10-foot lanes. And it's really common what we see in residential driveways. 20 feet is a standard and kind of consistent with, a residential application as well. And by kind of going with the 20-foot wide driveway, it also ensures that we can provide this accessible path from the public right-of-way to the entrance on the side that I've highlighted. We also have to kind of maintain the 5-foot edge clearance from the corner as a requirement as well. So, what we did and kind of included as part of our application was kind of looking at the 5 standards or 5 statutory requirements for the project. And, is the variance, we feel that the granting of this variance will not alter the character of the neighborhood. There's a lot of driveways for multifamily structures kind of along this stretch that do have a smaller driveway width. Again, this is not a commercial site. Our office works on projects of all varying scales. 24 feet is very common, and it's an industry standard in a shopping center or on a larger kind of commercial application. Again, it's in character with the North State Street. And it does follow the spirit of the ordinance. I mean, there are parts of the ordinance that do reference for residential applications that 20 feet would be acceptable. This is a multifamily building code, so it does fall under that 24 feet requirement. We kind of look at, is this, is the benefit outweighed to the harm of the general public? We're now providing ADA accessibility to this building that never existed. Today, if someone had to kind of get to the entrance of this building on the side that was in a wheelchair, they'd actually have to go down the existing driveway, probably right down the middle of it, because both the sides are in pretty rough shape, and then they'd have to go up a non-accessible ADA ramp to get into the building. So we do feel like this will be a benefit and an improvement there. Again, this will not, have any diminish on surrounding properties. Again, this is an opportunity for an adaptive reuse project and really clean up a really nice structure, in the city. And then we kind of look at, would the literal enforcement of the ordinance result in an unnecessary hardship? And we do feel like that's the case. I mean, in order to enforce a 24-foot wide driveway, which again we feel is not really required for the project, it would make us eliminate additional open space. We'd have to increase impervious surfaces. We would not be able to provide a separated ADA accessible path. Where we kind of started with this application is this shared use path, kind of how it operates today, that someone would, have the 24-foot wide driveway, but they would use 4 feet of the edge of it to kind of navigate down to get to the entrance. And what we've done in this case, and kind of coming to this board this evening, is we're requesting the 20 feet for the vehicles and then providing that 4 feet for pedestrians to be able to safely navigate to the building. And obviously this path would be used, both by people that may need it from an ADA accessibility, but everyday residents now would have a kind of a safe walking path to and from the building. We did kind of include additional findings as part of the application was filed. Happy to answer any questions, and thank you for having us this evening.
Questions from the board? Yes, Craig.
When you were considering this application, and now you open this up to staff also, did you take a good look at under Article 28.8 for the non-conforming uses of land and continuation of non-conforming use or non-conforming characteristics of a use?
So we worked closely with staff. We've had many meetings. We have been in front of the planning board as well, and we felt like this was the best way to kind of paper and ensure that the relief is kind of properly documented, because we are changing the use from a commercial use to a residential use.
Right, but that change from a non-residential use to a residential use is permitted by right, correct? Yes. Now, I'll answer the question. And that section here, see, what I'm seeing here is a situation where you're taking a rather intensive use, the office use there. What's the parking requirement under the office use? I came up with 40, 50 some odd parking spaces.
Correct. It doesn't have that many today, but
Right.
A commercial use would have a much higher parking requirement.
So you're replacing with this with a use that is otherwise permitted in the district, and it has a less than or equal to demand for parking. In this case, it actually has a less than demand for parking. It also, you meet, as far as I read the ordinance right now, you meet all this criteria here that, you know, particularly that any nonconforming characteristics related to Article 28.7, the access, circulation, parking, loaded, are reduced to the greatest extent possible. I'm familiar with this section, and the reason we wrote this section many years ago was to avoid repetitive and redundant reviews. And the idea was where you have a use that has non-conforming characteristics, such as parking, that's being replaced by a use that's otherwise permitted in the district, and the parking demand is equal or less than the existing use, why not let them go forward as long as they do everything they can to bring the property into conformity, even though they can't, because so many of the downtown lots are like this one, where you can't come into conformance. And like you say, I see this fitting that criteria quite clearly.
Is
So.
the parking and the driveway width, I mean, are they considered the same thing? Because
Yeah.
it looks like all they need is the driveway width.
Exactly. I mean, it
What you're
looks like
saying is you don't think they need a variance
I
at
don't
all?
think they need a variance at all under this section. And that's the reason this section was written, was to avoid people having to come in for an unnecessary review by the zoning board, especially in the case where you're going to be before the planning board.
Why don't
You
we,
gotta get
why don't we
a review
take
of
that
it.
up in discussion?
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. I just wanted to see if they looked at that first, so. Sorry, Chris.
Any other questions?
Real
from the
mean.
board?
Well, now, I'm assuming someone on staff told you needed a variance, and rather than appeal that administrative position, you just went ahead and applied for it.
Correct, yes.
Money's spent. Chris, you also need to, I mean, I don't know if
Is
you want to pick him,
Craig?
but
Craig, would you
You
be
have
so
to-
kind as to sit in on this case?
I did.
Thank you.
I don't want to be trouble.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board?
Yeah, I'm sure I can see in the plan. How wide is the sidewalk that you're adding?
So the sidewalk along the building is 4 feet wide.
Okay, so
so in essence, sidewalk and driveway, you technically have 24 feet of path of width, but 4 feet's designated to the pathway.
Correct, yes.
So you just subsumed that,
Kind of a no-brainer.
a section of the driveway with your new walk?
Yeah, before it would have been kind of a shared path, you know, where a pedestrian could walk down the driveway at 24 feet wide. Now where it's going to be a full height curb and a concrete sidewalk.
Understood, okay.
And I presume this 21 units, so you're planning for at least, parking for at least 21, so there'll be some traffic on the driveway, so creating the sidewalk is a safety issue as well.
Correct. Yeah, we feel it'll be much safer approach and
More appealing, safer.
Okay. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Is there anyone who would care to be heard in favor of this appeal? Is there anyone who would like to be heard in opposition to it? Any further comments from the planning department?
Yes. Sorry. I am pulling this up, so we can look at this. There was, a recent change to the zoning too, for conversions in the CBP district. So I just want to make sure that that is kind of where we're going with Mr. Walker's question regarding the driveway width and feeling as though the variance is not needed to make sure that we're doing that.
What was the rationale for saying a variance was needed?
I wasn't the deciding factor at this point. So, our minimum driveway widths are for two-way traffic, for apartments or anything like that.
Right.
That is the minimum required in our parking standards.
Right.
So when we refer to that and it says it has to adhere to, I would assume that that's what.
All right,
the
except that
plan
there are exceptions that have to do with existing conditions. Okay. Well, with that, we'll declare the public testimony portion of the hearing closed, and I will invite discussion by the board, starting with Mr. Wallner.
Well, to me, it's pretty black and white. In the interest of safety, I think we need a 4-foot a sidewalk at the expense of reducing the driveway width.
Very good. Mr. Monahan?
Yeah, I agree.
Ms. Spector Morgan?
I absolutely agree.
Mr. Walker?
I agree with all the premises for the need for the variance and the necessity for it. I just
Very
don't know
good.
if it's necessary.
Understood. One way or the other, I think the variance is going to go forward. I agree with my colleagues. Would anyone care to make a motion?
I make a motion to approve it.
Is there,
Read the motion.
Huh?
Read the motion.
Well, I will, once I get seconded. Oh,
Oh.
okay.
I second it. Now you can read
All
it.
right. I move to grant the variance
Wow.
from section
Frisky group tonight.
28-7, tax map
I haven't even
6414Z, lot 1, located 103 North State Street in the Civic Performance CVP District because all criteria under RSA 674:33 have been met based on the record before us, and I move to adopt the applicant's proposed findings as the board's findings of fact.
I second it again.
it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
And I just one point of discussion. I would request, I'm sure the staff's going to take a look at this, and if you do determine that indeed he did not need the variance, then this variance would become null and void.
Why?
If you didn't need a variance in the first place, you can't get a variance for something that doesn't exist. Against the Constitution,
No,
I
it's-
believe.
Well, I think
The
if
action
the-
taken
if-
this evening will remain, and if there's a change in a determination, we need to have a separate discussion on that.
Okay.
But this,
Why don't we leave it to the applicant to
it's a
decide?
legal proceeding at this
Yeah,
point.
again, I just
Yeah.
always.
My guess is that if he can build his apartments, he's going to be
Right.
happy, and so will his tenants.
And obviously, it carries with the land regardless, so.
Right.
Yeah.
But it is an
Once-
encumbrance.
Once the improvement is made, it'll.
All right. It's moved and seconded and discussed. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? The vote is unanimous. The variance is granted. You're off the hook, Greg. Thank
Okay.
you. Thanks very much.
Hi, Craig.
Nice to see you all.
Nice to see you
I'll come
too.
up again when I can't stay as long.
Our next case this evening is case 4.4. Oh, I should make a note that cases 4.1, 4.2, 4.3 listed on the agenda and case 4.10 are not going to be heard tonight. So if you're here for, did I?
No, you got it right. Go ahead, sorry. Sorry.
So if the 4.10 is Brianna Grollo on behalf of New Hampshire Motor Transport, and the other three were Philip Hastings for Hodges Development. All of those have been withdrawn from the agenda this evening, and at least three of them will not reappear because the law changed and they're not necessary. Item 4.4, Larissa J. and Robert L. Cagle request a variance to allow a 6-foot-tall fence at a corner lot to remain where a fence is permitted to be erected on a corner lot so as to materially impede vision between a height of 2.5 and 8 feet above the curb grades at 42 Airport Road. Did I read that correctly? A corner lot to remain, yes. Oh, where no fence is permitted to be erected on a corner lot so as to materially impede vision between the height of 2.5 and 8 feet above the curb grades. This is a 42 Airport Road, a medium-density residential district. Is anyone here to speak on this case? Please come forward.
While they're turning forward, was it moved out of the right-of-way?
Sorry, could you just clarify for the record, the voting members, just.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Ms.
Now it's me for the
Yes.
rest of the night.
Okay.
Ms. Prescott will be joining us for the rest of the cases.
I have a question, though. The agenda says it's a continuation of the June 3rd meeting. I was not here for the June. Did you open the case at all?
No.
No, okay.
No.
But we did continue it because there were discussions happening, and one of the issues in the staff memo was that it was in the right-of-way. So has that been resolved?
I'll let the applicant speak to that,
Okay.
and then we can discuss.
All right.
Okay.
Please come forward.
Hello,
Hello.
Bob, this is Larissa.
Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
We've been having conversations with Brian Tremblay,
Yes.
and this fence was originally installed by Lowe's, and we have a third-party contractor that has assured us that they can move it out of the right-of-way. I believe it's on the 24th of this month. We've emailed Brian Tremblay those plans, and if need be, we will do it ourselves, as we do with most of the things on our property. And the fence will not be there, I assure you, by the end of the month.
The plans that we have don't show the fence anywhere.
The plans that you have.
Yeah. We have, that were submitted with your application and are linked to the agenda.
I think we have a map that, don't we have a map?
And
The city surveyor came out and did a survey and provided a copy of a map of some kind that showed where the map was located.
It's in the
Right,
staff
we don't-
memo? It's in the staff memo?
Are you guys manipulating this?
So,
I'm not.
but that doesn't show where they're proposing to put it.
Oh, no, no, no.
So we have no drawing that shows us where you're proposing to put it.
Well, on the other side of the line is exactly, I mean,
Well, I'll consult with my colleagues, but I have a concern, particularly with where the positioning of the fence is extremely important
Sure.
relative to whether or not we grant the variance.
Yep.
That we need good information about where it's going to be and what the impact is going to be, and I don't think we have that yet. But I will ask my colleagues to weigh in on that. Why don't you tell us why you think a variance is justified?
sure. So as I said, the fence was originally installed by Lowe's, which only speaks to the fact that we did not intend on being in the right-of-way, nor did we intend on being higher than necessary. Apparently, they were under the impression that a side lot, you could put a fence there, and we've been in contact with them, and they assured us that they can do what needs to be in order to get it within the right-of-way and within the code.
I mean, out of the right-of-way.
Out of the right-of-way, correct. At the time, they did not ask for a survey, so unfortunately, that's where we're at right now. Based on the traffic and the location of the fence, it is actually well past, well inside the neighborhood, if you will, because our house is actually set back significantly. So if you look at the actual pictures, and Brian didn't send over any pictures or anything like that. I don't know if that's part of the.
so
No.
I have a question.
Sure.
There is a picture in here on the staff side that it looks like you're sitting on a corner, right? So is Airport Road your actual address?
Correct.
Yes.
So that's the front of your house, but yet the side of your house faces Lawrence Street.
Correct.
So is that why is the 6-foot part in question?
Yes, the facing
The
Lawrence
6-foot
Street.
height?
Yeah, it's the,
And is that because it's a side yard that's on the
no, I think it's because it obscures the view coming off the,
coming off?
One thing I'd like to
Around
add,
the
the
corner.
fence is actually 3 years old. It's not a new fence, so it's been in that position for 3 years and it hasn't caused any
Right.
disturbances with traffic. And we do have 2 neighbors that have signed to agree with us that, yes.
Yeah, I'm looking at the picture,
Yeah.
so I can see the actual picture of the house online from Google, and so, yeah, I'm just kind of, because I know in the front of the house, it can't be more than 4 feet tall. This is technically to the side, but it does face a side street. But even pulling it back out of the right of way would be even less to impeding the view. And by the time they get to the intersection, they're well away from the
well,
fence.
let's them,
Okay,
let
I'm
them.
just I'm trying to,
So, based on, even Brian mentioned and the surveyor mentioned that the height of the fence at the corner does not necessarily impede any visual line of sight for that road or at airport. It doesn't have any kind of safety impact, if you will, for traffic, which I believe is the original intent of the code and certainly understandable. This fence was designed for us to be able to exercise in our backyard with privacy. It's designed for our dogs to exercise in the backyard. There are, for our safety. And as my wife mentioned, we've a couple of neighbors who have signed stating that it does not affect the neighborhood in any way from how it looks or safety in any way. And They would also confirm that even the property that we do not own, we are strong stewards of that property, mowing it, keeping trash off of it, and making sure they can walk on our driveway in front of our house. So lowering would not necessarily affect it. However, we do have special needs people in the neighborhood, and if we were to lower that fence from 6 to 4 feet, they would have direct visual eye contact with our dogs. The dogs tend to bark. We try to avoid that as much as possible. I work from home, so we try, anytime they bark, I bring them inside. But initially, they would have direct eye contact with these dogs barking, and we have concerns about that, as well as just an overall safety for the possibility of our dogs jumping over the fence, which, a 4-foot fence, maybe not, but they're fairly agile, so we're trying to avoid that as well. I guess I don't really have much more to say, and I appreciate your time this evening, but I appreciate the code for safety, but I don't think that it applies to this. And rest assured, as I said, that fence will be moved out of the right-of-way based on the survey that was given to us by the city. And we will do it on our own if we have to, but Lowe's is guaranteed that they will do it for us by the end of the month. And I appreciate your time.
Very good. Questions from the board? Yes.
Can you speak to the unnecessary hardship criteria, please?
So specifically the dogs and how they would bark with our neighbors, this is a subject that I feel really kind of uncomfortable with, because we have had incidences in the neighborhood where my daughter, who's in the audience, has been in the backyard, and we've had people in the neighborhood who
Walk down our driveway.
Walked down our driveway and walked on our property. And if that fence had not been there, they probably could have made eye contact with our daughter or our son. And I understand that there are unhoused people in the neighborhood, and I understand that some of them have addictions, but I would prefer they not have access to our daughter and our family when we're walking out there. And at night, we walk out there sometimes 9 or 10 o'clock at night to get our exercise, as you can see I need. And at the end of the day, that would impede our ability to exercise and safely, and our daughter playing in our yard and their dogs.
I appreciate all of that, but unnecessary hardship has to arise from the land, not the people. So what is it about your property that makes it need a 6-foot fence instead of a 4-foot fence?
Need the property.
In other words, the configuration of the property, its position relative to other properties and other things, things about it you can't change, those would be things that might create a hardship.
Sure.
Vis-a-vis
Such as
the
being on a corner lot that you didn't expect to have 2 front yards.
I think that, that is the nature of the corner lot, and we understand it, which it being on the corner lot means that there's concerns of safety, but that safety isn't an issue, and our hardship is that it is a corner lot, I guess.
And question to staff, would it matter if it wasn't a corner lot? Is there a 4-foot limit on fences, period, or is it just in the front yard?
No, it's just in the front yard. So your side and rear can be a 6-foot fence, and then once you become a corner lot, then you do have 2 fronts. So that.
But even the front fence is 6 feet high?
It's not in the front.
It's not in front of the house.
Oh, okay. It's just the side one?
And I will note that we are across the street from the National Guard, which has a large fence, which I understand security-wise. But there are also multiple commercial properties that have fences of the same size facing Airport Road in the front of their property, which is not technically the front, but on the side and corner lot and what have you.
There are other residential properties that have it as well,
Yeah.
to be perfectly honest.
In our
So,
neighborhood.
yeah.
So,
I know there's, I'm sorry, Chris.
Yeah, go ahead.
We don't have a drawing here, but can you just describe, is the fence surround property, or is it up, down
you want me
Lawrence
to
and
walk over
Airport?
to the picture?
Yep,
Sure.
that'd be
Go ahead.
best, yeah.
And this was our concern, because if you look at the property, based on where the road is, logically speaking, you would think that the right-of-way is here, right? And it is. That's where the right-of-way is. But up here, it's right here. The right-of-way is actually,
In the trees?
so the fence needs to go like that.
Where's the fence now, I guess is my question.
I think the fence is actually on the red line, as far as I can tell. because it is parallel with the street.
So is the fence along Lawrence Street and Airport Road?
The fence starts on the edge, and it goes here, and it comes this way, and comes back around.
So is the GIS map incorrect?
I don't know,
That is the 2020
Yeah.
GIS aerial on that computer.
But is it incorrect showing where the property line is? I realize it's not a surveyor's document to begin with, but is it that far off?
It's fairly close, I believe.
I apologize for not having that other picture. Based on what I think the fence looks like, it goes here, that way, and then back down.
That's what your fence does.
Yeah, but according to the right-of-way, the fence kind of goes into this area, which, again, the distance between the fence is pretty significant, pretty static.
But I think the only issue before us tonight is the height of the fence, right? We're not disputing, we're not dealing with the right of way, inside or outside
So,
the right of way,
and-
is that correct?
The distance of your front yard to the fence, did you say it's 20, like, based on this picture, it looks like it's 20, 25 feet back from
It's
the,
pretty far back.
from the
yeah,
road
it's
in the corner?
significantly far back.
How active is the National Guard in that area across the street?
I have a front office where I work from home. I very rarely see activity across the street.
Okay, so National Guard activity doesn't create a hardship for you, is that what you're saying?
It's noisy when they're out front, sure.
But the fence wouldn't, would the fence assist with the noise?
The fence would assist with us not being aware of it as much when it's more of in the middle of the, 9 o'clock at night when we want to walk. The fence provides safety, and the fence provides kind of like,
But they are active at times. They do go out and gas up their vehicles, and
they do make a lot of noise when they're across the street.
they also train over there as well.
And that riles up your dogs?
Everything riles up our dogs.
Everything around it.
Mine too.
They're rescue
that
dogs.
feeling.
They have a lot of spirit, and so we think the lowering of the fence we're worried about and I know that's not it's not the hardship we're looking for, but that's a big concern for us.
Any diesel noises.
The fence has been there for 3 years.
Correct.
How did this issue come up?
An anonymous complaint.
All right, other questions from the board?
Were the dogs
Still
complaining? They wanted to,
They don't like FedEx, that's about it.
They don't like FedEx?
Or Prime.
Oh. Did you have something, Brenda? No? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone who'd like to be heard in favor of this appeal? Is there anyone who'd like to be heard in opposition to it? Any comments from the planning department?
If you guys so choose to grant the motion, but I would recommend that the board consider putting the condition on that the fence be removed from the right of way. Just make it clear for the notice of decision.
Okay. Before I close the public hearing, I'd like to poll the board on how comfortable they feel acting on this case. And the reason I haven't closed the public hearing is that if we choose to postpone the case, we could also reopen the public hearing. How comfortable you feel about making a ruling on this when we don't really know where the fence is going to go? I don't really feel like I have a good idea of what it is we're being asked to approve.
Oh, I feel pretty confident. That,
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the question isn't even that it's in the right of way, yet they're willing to fix that.
Yeah.
I think the hardship is the fact that they have 2 front yards. Most people don't realize that when they're on a corner, that technically creates front requirements, which would normally have side requirements, which are completely different. And it's 25 feet from the road corner, plus the buffer to the road. So I don't see an issue. I think the hardship is just the way it was set up, and they're willing to fix the right-of-way part.
How do you see it, Inspector Morton?
to answer your question, I'm not concerned about not having a plan about where the fence is going to be because the location's not an issue.
Okay.
Do you want me to talk about the merits of the application?
No, we'll come back to that. Both of you gentlemen feel the same way
I do.
Same way, meaning.
as Laura and,
I didn't quite follow. Are you saying you would like?
I don't need a plan because the issue's not the location of the fence, it's the height.
you guys are good?
Until they described it to me, maybe it wouldn't matter that, I was the impression initially that the height of the fence ran the entirety of Airport Road. So,
All right.
Yes.
okay.
Well, in that case, I'll close the public hearing and invite discussion. Brenda, did you have anything more to add? You've already done a pretty good exegesis on how you think about things. What you think about things.
I guess if I'm clear, I'm already clear.
Okay.
I think the hardship is that it's a corner lot, but I think they're far enough away from the technical front that it's not an issue for me.
Okay. Inspector Morgan.
I understand it has two front sides because it's a corner lot, but they seem very comfortable with that idea, and like that was not a surprise to them. I don't see anything about the land that requires a 6-foot fence as opposed to a 4-foot fence, so I don't see the unnecessary hardship, and I would vote no.
Okay. Mr. Monahan.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm leaning toward Laura. I was struggling to say, is the activity from the National Guard across the street create some sort of a uniqueness to the property? I actually think it probably does, although I'm not sure how much. So there's a little bit something there.
I agree with Brenda. I think the corner lot issue is hardship because of the requirement is a little more strict for corner lots.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to say that I agree with the corner lot analysis as well. If we set aside the fact that we're guessing as to where the fence goes, if my guess is accurate, I think you could make an argument that because it's a corner lot, a fence that they could have in a side yard, they can't have. Yeah. And that is a reasonable use of their property to have a 6-foot fence. So I would be inclined, I think, to support, find a hardship and support a motion to approve. Would anyone care to make a motion either way?
Can I just react to that? My path to supporting the variance has more to do with the hardship associated with the National Guard across the street. There are thousands of corner lots in Concord, so I wouldn't want to suggest that every corner lot can have a 6-foot fence. So, I'd be more comfortable supporting. If I vote yes, it will be because of the National Guard activity across the street.
I think that's safe to say.
Very good. Very good.
Though
So-
I was just looking at this, and on the staff memo, I don't see the right notes for making the motion. I don't know if it's just me, but I don't see that whole section of what
It's
we're.
not, it was done by somebody prior, but we can help you.
Okay,
Need help?
yes.
I just need to know which
No,
way
you
you're going.
don't. You could do it.
I make a motion to approve.
To grant?
To
granting?
grant, yes. I'd like to make a motion to grant the variance of a 6-foot fence on the side yard to be moved out of the right-of-way.
So you're making a motion to grant the variance for request from Article 28-5 Supplemental Standards, Section 28-540 fences, walls, and hedges to allow a 6-foot tall fence at the corner lot to remain where no fence is permitted to be created on a corner lot so as to material impede vision between a height of 2.5 and 8 feet above curb grades. Property is located at 42 Airport Road.
Thank you, Kelly. Yes, that's the one.
But conditioned on the
But conditioned on it being moved out of the right-of-way.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Is there an opposition?
No.
I think we want to adopt the applicant's findings
Thank you, yes, I left that out.
Yeah.
as the board's findings, but I would
And did we have the condition about,
Yep, the right-of-way, yep.
add a finding, though, that there's an additional hardship associated with the National Guard activity across the street.
Yes, I would include that.
Fair enough.
The second, yeah.
Fair enough. That's consistent with my vote. Everybody else comfortable with that?
Yep.
Okay. That resolves that case.
Oh, 4-1, 4-1.
I beg your pardon?
Sorry, we were counting how many were in favor, and
Oh,
4 to 1.
yeah, we couldn't count for a second. Well, I couldn't, so.
Did Laura vote no?
I voted no.
She whispered it.
I feel bad when I do that.
Don't put that in.
But you do it well.
okay. The next case is case 4.5, also case 0434. The Glendenning family of revocable trust requests a variance from to allow for a 5-foot setback where a 10-foot setback is required. The maximum allowed for the construction of a garage at 6 Morton Street, in the downtown residential RD district. Is there anyone here representing the Glendenning family?
6 Morton Street.
You swear to tell the truth and nothing but? Would you identify yourself for the record as you testify, please?
Yeah, my name is Ryan Frankfort. I'd be the builder for this project.
All right. Tell us why you feel a variance is appropriate in this case.
Well, I think this one will be easy. They applied for this in 2023 in October. It was approved then. They just didn't get building it in time before it expired, so I'm just looking to renew what they have.
So you're looking for a renewal of a variance that was previously approved?
Yes, it was
But
approved in
expired.
October.
But expired, so you can't.
Has anything changed?
Nothing's changed.
Could I get your name again, please?
Ryan Frankfort.
Is that driveway down the left side of the house, or?
It is on the left side.
Yeah.
Any questions from the board? Anything else you'd like us to know?
I don't think so.
Thank you very much.
Okay, appreciate it.
Is there anyone here who wishes to be heard in favor of this appeal? Is there anyone who wishes to be heard in opposition to it? Any comments from planning?
No, board previously approved it in 2023. Nothing's changed other than the fact that they just weren't able to build it in time
Very good.
within that 2-year period, so.
With that, we'll close the public testimony portion of the hearing, and I will invite discussion, starting with Mr. Wallner.
Works for me. I think I approved it way back then. I'm
I was
prepared to
gonna
prove it again.
I was gonna say, which
You were
one of
right
us
then and you're
approved
right
it in
now.
23?
Okay. Mr. Monahan?
I don't remember how I voted on it, or if I was even here back then, but do we have the ability, when we're approving this tonight, to adopt the record from the previous approval?
Yes, I believe that's in the motion.
Oh, it is, okay, great,
If it's not, we can state that in there.
okay.
Okay.
Inspector Morgan?
I voted no last time, but I think I'm gonna vote yes this time.
You got a second chance.
I did. I see the hardship now.
There are second chances. Ms. Perkins?
It's a tough lot, I would say. I would approve it again.
All right, I agree. Would anyone care to make a motion?
I'll make a motion, but I'm looking at the draft motion here, and it, just so you know, I'll amend it here. It makes reference to the record before us, which does not include the previous. So I move to grant the variance from section 28.4 ID3 and section 28.4 IH to allow a 5-foot setback or a 10-foot setback to the maximum side setback allowed at tax map 7443/Z, lot 58 at 6 Morton Street in the downtown residential district, because all the criteria under RSA 674-33 have been met based on the record before us, which would include the representation that it had been approved previously, and I move to adopt the applicant's proposed findings as the board's findings of fact.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? The vote is unanimous. The variance is granted. That brings us to item 4.6 on the agenda, which is case number 0435. Ari Pollock, on behalf of Bow Mills United Methodist Church, Incorporated, who are requesting to be allowed to leave existing improvements in place to remain in applicable side setback at 271 South Street in a single-family RS district. swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Would you identify yourselves for the record as you testify?
Yes. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm Ari Pollack with the Gallagher, Callahan, and Gartrell Law Firm here tonight for Stabile and Son, the applicant, and Bow Mills Methodist Church, the landowner. And to my right is Eric Jackson of Stabile and Son.
And just for the record, Eric and I went to high school together. We've known each other for a very long time. I don't think that gives me a conflict, but if anyone else is concerned about it, I will recuse myself. Okay.
The applicant
I don't see any
No one's jumping
up to be concerned, so carry on, please.
Applicant has no concerns. The applicant is proposing a residential subdivision in the south end on Lot 4 of map 8814Z. The subdivision parcels under agreement with the landowner, McLeod's. The applicant approached the church as the adjacent landowner about a lot boundary adjustment to better align their proposed entry road with the existing intersection of Moreland Avenue. Realigning the intersection is in response to comments from city staff that were received during the initial development discussions and design review. The applicant anticipates filing a lot line adjustment between tax lots 3 and 4, and as well as a subdivision plan relative to lot 4. But tonight, zoning relief is a precursor to those applications to the planning board. 271 South Street is lot 3. This is the existing configuration of the property, and what is proposed by lot line adjustment is to bring this line inward so that this road can be fit in over here, and to take this line in the rear and push it toward backward away from the frontage so that an equivalent land area exists before and after. You might ask, that's very interesting, but why are we here? And the answer is because there are some existing improvements on this lot. There's a house here, there's a patio which is deemed a structure, and there's a garage. And each of these improvements are within what is now required by the ordinance, a 15-foot side setback. These 3 structures exist today. They're not going anywhere as a result of any of the projects that are proposed, and the lot line adjustment does not affect that area of the lot. However, the lot line adjustment process requires either conformity with the zoning ordinance or variances to excuse nonconformity. And so that's why we're here. We're asking that you grant a variance that will allow these 3 improvements to continue to exist in their current location. Now, you might ask, what is this right here? This is a shed, and by virtue of moving this line backward, as is proposed in the blue box, that will actually go from non-conforming to a conforming configuration or location, and therefore we're only asking for relief from the side setback to leave these 3 improvements where they are. The criteria for a variance are addressed in the application. The hardship is that the improvements on the property, well, not the patio, but the house and the garage, they date back considerably, and at least as far as the house is concerned, to the 1930s and prior to modern zoning and prior to side setback requirements. The improvements are legal, but non-conforming in their present location, and the proposed lot line adjustments don't alter the location or further exacerbate the non-conformity. They stay right where they are. And if we were to cause the improvements to be relocated only in the context of a lot line adjustment on the other side of the property, it would expose the owner to an extreme hardship with really nothing to gain by the properties that surround it or the community at large. The use is reasonable in the sense that the variance would allow the permitted residential use to remain exactly as it is now. The public interest is served in that the preservation of existing conditions really have everything to gain for the applicant, and there's nothing to be gained by strict interpretation that would cause these to be relocated. the spirit and intent of the ordinance and substantial justice, the requested variance would be consistent in that the improvements are allowed on residential properties and they don't present any threat to or irritant to neighbors. And the value of the surrounding properties, there's no evidence to suggest that the immediately surrounding properties, which are all developed residential in the same fashion, would suffer any sort of devaluation if things were to remain as is. And so by virtue of the lot line adjustment on the far side of the property, which is the south boundary of the property, and the rear, we face a situation where we need a variance to allow the existing improvements on the other side of the property to remain exactly where they are. Happy to take your questions.
Questions from the board? Any questions? Gentlemen? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone who wishes to be heard in favor of this appeal? Is there anyone who wishes to be heard in opposition to it? Do I see a hand back there? No. Any comments from planning? Very good. With that, we'll close the public testimony portion of the hearing, and I will start with Ms. Perkins. How do you see this one?
I don't have a problem with it. It predated the current zoning requirements, so I wouldn't expect them to move a house.
I agree. If anything, they're making it more conforming.
I agree, and it's kind of a ministerial effort to keep the planning process moving forward. So
I'm good with it.
I am as well. Would anyone care to make a motion?
I move to grant the variance from section 28413 and 28418H to allow existing improvements to remain an applicable side setback on tax map 8814/Z lot 3 located at 271 South Street in the single-family RS district because all of the criteria under RSA 674-33 have been met based on the record before us, and I move to adopt the applicant's proposed findings as the board's findings of fact.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? The vote is unanimous. The variance is granted. Which brings us to item 4.7 on the agenda, which is case number 0436, Boyd Smith P. Revocable Trust, 2008, requests a variance to allow for a driveway 58 feet in width where 28 feet is the maximum permitted. All of this would take place at 139 Liberty Street in the single-family residential RS district. Is there somebody here representing the Smith Revocable Trust?
That would be me.
Very good. May I assume that you will swear to tell the truth?
You may assume so.
Thank you very much.
And
Would you please identify yourself for the record?
Yep, I am Boyd Smith of 139 Liberty Street in Concord, New Hampshire, and I am reappearing in front of this board to build on the application that was approved for a new garage that we're putting on the Watkins Way part of our lot, because at that time that I was in front of you guys, I didn't, and nobody else seemed to think about we've got to make the driveway wider if we want to pave to the new garage. So I apologize for making this a two-step process and taking more time for everybody. I don't know if I got the control of this, but could one of you staff please?
You have the control for it.
I want to pull up the map. I think I just want to have that to talk to if we need it. That's not the one I was talking about. The sketch map that I put in with the...
Yep, that's in the application too, so I can help you out.
You just click on the first one, I think.
Application materials.
The second one.
Not a touchscreen. Sorry.
I wish.
There we are. So, okay, thanks. I just wanted to get the, thanks. That's the one, yeah. Put that up to talk to. Great. Yeah, that'll do it. Thank you very much. So anyway, thanks for having me. Sorry I didn't think about taking care of this when we met back in May. Let's see. So I guess I'll talk to that sketch. I think you can see through it. There's the existing structure of a garage that's just to the sort of lower right of the two cars the red car and the silver car there. That's the existing garage. It's about 22 feet deep by 18 feet wide. And then what I've sketched in the blue line there is the footprint of the new garage. Again, the variances, you guys approved that a couple of months ago. And that's going to be 20 feet deep, so not quite as deep, but 32 feet wide. And we're doing that so we can have a two-car garage that we can drive in and get out of the weather. Our intention is to stay in that house as long as we possibly can. So sort of a retirement thing. So it adds 14 feet roughly to the existing structure. And I guess the other thing to point out is if you see where the red car and the silver car are parked, it's sort of a black line that outlines existing pavement. And I think of it, I don't know if it applies this way or not, I think of that as driveway, which is wherever the cars are, which would provide you access to the garage, and the walkway that's just above it, so just above that silver car. It's all the same paving. The walkway is roughly 5 feet wide, and the driveway between the garage and the paved area of the road is the width of the building. It's about 18, but rounded up, I think that is just about 24 feet of existing pavement. Watkins Way is a dead-end road with 3 houses on it. We're one of them. There's 2 on the other side. It has a 50-foot right-of-way and 20 feet of asphalt on it. So it's very limited use. It's just the people that live there and the occasional lost soul looking for a way up to Auburn Street. And so what we have done historically, if you look at that, the drawing in white, I've got something in a box that says existing dirt. And there's been a dirt parking area that we've used since we moved in there in 99, so a long time. And that's where we put, we actually have 3 cars in the household and guests. We put them in there, gets everybody off the pavement, not a problem, it's worked pretty well. So what we're really asking for is to add asphalt in that green box area so that we can go the full width of the new garage of 32 feet and then carry the asphalt out to the existing edge of pavement on Watkins Way. And that's what our application is about. That's what we're asking for. We need a variance because my understanding is it's 28 feet maximum at the property line, which in this case is the red line, not the edge of pavement. And that house, it shows up on an 1848 map. I don't know how old the garage is, but I'm at least 100 years old is my guess. And you can see that they're all within the setback, which is why we came for a variance the first time. So the only other thing I guess I want to touch on is when I got a copy of the abutters letter notice and the request asked for 58 feet of right-of-way, I sort of gasped because I was thinking we had 18, 24, asking for 14, so maybe 38 feet of it. And my concern, of course, is 58 is bigger than 38, and would that raise questions? And staff and I have gone back a couple of times on electronically, and I can't say I understand that request, and we haven't had a chance to hash it out, and maybe it's not important. So I think that what will happen is we'll lose some of that dirt parking by putting in the pavement so we can access the garage and leave the remaining dirt area there where we'll put a car or 2 when we need it. And again, this has allowed us to stay off of the pavement when we park for the almost 30 years that we've been there. And the neighbors park, we're all able to get off the traveled way too, which is good because it's only 20 feet. It's narrower than a city driveway apparently. So I think that's, I guess I would ask for the board's approval to put in that extra piece of pavement so we can be able to drive into our new garage. And that's what the variance is.
So it's not 58 feet. It's just, it's 38 feet.
It would be 38 feet of pavement and a remaining 20-ish feet of existing dirt area that we've parked in.
But that's just, it could be grass and you could park on it. You're not looking for that part to be paved.
Do not want to pave it.
So it's really, you're just asking for your 24-foot to go to 32.
About 38.
38.
Yep.
And the most that's allowed is 28? So it's a 10-foot difference, not a 30-foot difference.
Right. And part of that,
Staff thinks that it's a larger difference because
Right.
that dirt area would be part of the driveway, right?
Yeah, that's the way I understood it too.
and frankly, I don't understand that. And we've gone back and forth, and I didn't have a chance to get in person and resolve. I mean, I guess I would think a driveway connects the road to something. In this case, what I think of as the driveway connects the road to our entrances of our to-be-built garage, and the other is just off-street parking. And we're not going to pave it. We have no intention or need to pave that.
So the paved area will be, so in looking at this, in the green here, you say proposed new pavement.
Correct.
And that's an additional 14 feet.
Correct.
Okay. And there's existing pavement that's 24 feet.
18, yeah, I'd call, yes. And a part of that is our walkway.
And that's where those two cars are shown.
Correct. That's right.
And you said 5 feet of that is your walkway.
Right.
So you've got 5 feet of walkway, 19 feet of existing pavement for parking, and you're looking for an additional 14 feet.
Correct.
So the grass we're talking about would be on the left side of the picture next to the garage.
Right. If you can see that white box that says existing dirt, and then the green line just above it to the right, the green line just above it to the right is the edge of pavement.
Yeah.
And to the left of that is just leave it as is, which is it's actually gravel.
So the green line's the edge of the proposed pavement.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right.
How much frontage do you have on Watkins Way?
Oh, I don't know, 200 feet or something. The city maintains pavement to the next house past us, maybe another 50, 60 feet down the road. And then it's actually labeled on the map as unmaintained or something like that.
Do you want a 58-foot curb cut?
No, this is what I actually want is to add 14 feet of pavement so we can access a new garage and then to continue parking on what is essentially city right-of-way.
So I'm confused, I guess I'll ask staff, I'm confused why the dirt section of a side of a road is considered part of his parking that he needs approval for when anywhere on the side of a road that doesn't have a curb or, that has the width to park, somebody could park.
Yes, so,
It's front yard parking, I think.
correct. So essentially, the driveway is already in the city right of way. So once you look at the aerial photo, which I can pull up over here.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now,
Well, you can see
but
it's
his
in the right-of-way.
address is not Watkins Way, it's Liberty Street. So here we go again.
Sort of a corner lot, as it turns out.
We're going to just have to get rid of these corner lots. Otherwise, it's nothing but trouble.
You seem to be having issues with those today.
Yes, we do. I
So-
happen to live on one, so I know all about it.
So as you can see, the driveway currently is already, the paved area is already in the right of way. This is the remaining.
Doesn't look like it's a very deep driveway. There's enough room for one car.
So staff's interpretation is, if he's paving this and then adding 14 feet, this is still considered impervious surface area for people. And you can have a dirt driveway, you can have a gravel driveway, so it's still considered a driveway. So you go from the edge of the gravel all the way over to the edge of the pavement, and that measured about 58 feet there.
So if he planted grass there and parked on the grass, then it wouldn't be considered impervious anymore?
Correct.
Plant grass.
The red line is the,
That's the property line.
Yeah, the red line is, go
Yeah,
ahead, sorry.
the right of way would be somewhere.
so he wants to pave on city property?
Well, driveways are
Driveways,
often in the
yeah.
right of
Yeah.
way. About a quarter of my driveway's in the right of way.
Well, we'll get to
Every
you next.
entrance,
Doing a corner lot as well?
every entrance
It's
to
more
the property is
the apron of the
technically
driveway.
the right of way.
Yes, correct, the apron.
I'd also like to say that probably, I'm not sure when that code was put in place, but I know that driveway's north of 30 years old. It's been there long before we got there.
So if I were to put gravel in my front yard, would you consider that to be a parking area?
It would be impervious surface area, so we would look at your lot coverage. It would be, if you were using it as parking, he's using it as parking.
Okay. You're using that at gravel as parking?
I am, but before we go too much further down that, I'm thinking of all the thousands of cars that park on city streets all over the city and on asphalt, which happens to be impermeable. And I am hearing, and I saw in the recommendation that, you might have to grass it, loam it, and seed it. I mean, that seems kind of a...
It's technically the city's property.
It is the city's property.
Okay. Very good.
We could do that if you wanted to, but it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense.
Sorry, I seem to be feisty.
Any other questions from the board? Is there anything else you'd like us to know?
No, just the main thing is we're trying to get asphalt up to the 32-foot of the new garage so we can drive in and out of that.
Understood. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Is there anyone who'd like to be heard in favor of this appeal? Is there anyone who'd like to be heard in opposition to it? Is there anything else from planning?
The staff's position is that it technically is a 58-foot wide if he were to able to, if you guys were to grant the variance in paving. And if he's not, then I would make the recommendation that the board put a condition that he removes the additional impervious surface area and have the width of the 38 feet of which he is requesting. So.
Understood.
So I guess I'm just...
Wait a second, I want to close the
sorry.
hearing. With that, we'll declare the hearing closed. Yes?
I'm still confused how the edge of the road that's considered the right-of-way, which, like, my own neighbor has, if he decided to park a car there every night, it's still the edge of the road, it's still technically city property. Unless somebody complained about the vehicle being there, it wouldn't be a problem. But in this, it makes it part of his driveway and then affects his variance.
So it's less about just solely focusing on parking. When we look at the definition of driveways, it's access parking. We take into consideration the impervious as well. So it's accumulation of factors, not just one siloed focus. So it's case by case, just like anything else. And this was our interpretation of this parcel.
Very good. Thank you. So, discussion. I'm going to start this one with Ms. Spector-Morgan. How do you see it?
Well, I mean, he's not really asking to do anything he's not already doing, except he wants to pave those 14 feet. But I don't know that 58-foot wide driveway is a legal non-conforming use. So to the extent it was established illegally, that doesn't give him any credit. Since all he's asking for is the pavement, I would be inclined to grant the 14 feet of additional pavement because you need it to get to the garage, but I would impose a condition that the rest of that be made pervious.
Very good. How do you see it, Mr. Monahan?
I totally see what he wants to do, but it strikes me that what he wants to do is pave part of the city's property to make it easier for him to getting in and out of his garage in the park. So it's curious to me that we're describing it as a driveway.
Well, he'll need a driveway permit too, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
And every driveway's in the right-of-way.
Yeah.
So the distinguishing factor is the apron of the driveway is in the city's right-of-way.
Mm-hmm.
In all cases, for the most part.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why we have a driveway permit for that specific portion of the driveway.
Mm-hmm. It's just an unusually large apron that he's asking.
Yes.
Hence, this discussion. Mr. Wallner, how does it look to you?
I'm okay with the new pavement request of 14 additional feet.
I'm okay with the additional 14 feet. He's got a 5-foot walkway, 19 feet of driveway. Adding 14 is not an extreme amount over the 28. And it's just my personal opinion, I disagree with the whole extra area being, considered his responsibility to make it dirt or make it grass or anything else if it's technically in the right-of-way. But that's just...
Some of it is, some of it isn't.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I get it.
All right. Clearly, there's a hardship brought on by the land. You can't get in and out of the building without an apron wide enough to pretty much do the whole width of the building. So there's no question in my mind that there's a hardship justifying the width. I'm inclined to agree with Brenda about the gravel. On the other hand, I would support a motion to approve with or without the condition.
Is the city wanting us to make it subject to that condition, or is it still up to us to make it subject to that condition?
It's always up to us.
It's up to you.
Okay.
It's always up to us.
But
Aren't
just
we
keep
special?
in mind, if you are, you would still consider it a 58-foot wide driveway.
So
there.
you're saying we have to ask for an approval of a 58-foot? If we grant the variance, it's a variance approving 58 feet.
Or it's a variance approving 14 feet of additional pavement with the condition that the rest of it be made.
Yeah. If we grant it's submitted, he gets the whole 50-some feet. But it is up to us.
Are you trying to ask if you can decrease the 58
Yeah.
to blanket to whatever number
Because
with
then
no
I feel,
condition?
if we approve it for 58, then technically he could pave it, right?
If you approve it
Yes.
as is,
But if
he
we
can still
approve
pave
it more, in more detail, like saying we're approving the additional 14 feet to be paved and excluding this comment of 58 foot, then that could be dirt, it could be grass, it's just not part of his paved driveway.
He's not asking for a variance to pave, he's asking for a width. So the minute he removes that pervious, because technically we would consider that 2 driveways right now. So once he removes that middle strip, it's all one.
Am I just not getting it, or? I'm not trying to be difficult.
Well, it's not all that mysterious to me, but I think the question is, what the city is saying is that if we put a condition on there, then we've satisfied their suggestion, but it's our choice. If we don't put a condition on, then he has the right to use that full width. I think we could stipulate that it not change other than the additional 14 feet of pavement.
Okay, I like that.
That's another possibility.
Yeah.
But in other words, that it stays gravel, which means that we make a distinction between gravel and pavement that the city doesn't, but so be it. That would be a way of doing it.
Okay.
I don't see it as, to me, the hardship's there, we ought to deal with it.
Yeah. Okay.
Would anyone care to make a motion?
If I do it, I'm going to include the condition, so if that's a problem, someone else do it.
Yeah, do it.
Okay.
Do it. You can make any motion you like.
I move to grant the variance from, am I in the right? Yeah, from section 2877F to allow for 32 feet in width. No, 42 feet in width. 32 feet in width?
30.
30.
I thought he said 38.
38 feet in
Sorry,
width.
38.
Where 28 feet is the maximum driveway width allowed on tax map 6531/Z, lot 22, located at 139 Liberty Street, with the condition that the remainder of the 58 feet be made impervious.
No.
Pervious, however you choose to do that.
Inflammable.
Yes, because all of the criteria under RSA 674-33 have been met based on the record before us, and I move to adopt the applicant's proposed findings as the board's findings of fact.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? The vote, did you vote, Brenda?
I said aye.
The vote is unanimous. The variance is granted with the condition stipulated. And that brings us to 4.8, item 4.8 on the agenda, which is case 0437, which is Brian Beach on behalf of Cynthia L. Christie Revocable Trust, requesting a variance to allow for a 10.5-foot side setback where 15 feet are required, located at 16 Broken Ground Drive in the single-family RS district. Swear to tell the truth and nothing but.
Yes, I do.
Would you identify yourself for the record as you testify, please?
Yes, Brian Beach with Sheep Enterprise.
enterprises.
What would you like us to know, Mr. Beach, that will convince us that a variance is justified?
Certainly. So we're proposing a 20 by 24 garage off the left side of the current structure. We believe that the proposed garage is conforming in style and nature to the aesthetics of the neighborhood. The homeowners are desiring additional space to complete vintage vehicle restoration. He's an avid vehicle enthusiast. General upkeep, additional storage, things like that, and parking spaces. Broken Ground Drive is actually a busy street. It's a cut through from Portsmouth to 132 to access the city, or 202. So this would alleviate some on-street parking potentially, and any risks associated thereof. The proposed garage does not change the character of the home, the aesthetics of the neighborhood, and lastly, the proposed construction adds to the tax base while requiring no additional draw on services. We believe that the variance, if it were granted, the spirit of the ordinance would be observed, because we believe the spirit of the setback ordinance exists to ensure that property owners' lot lines are observed and not encroached upon. We believe that the proposed structure, once built, will still leave ample green space to the property line while not encroaching upon it. In addition, the remaining green space, there is a physical boundary already that exists with a chain link fence. So that denotes the property lines clearly from the street for anyone that is onlooking. We believe that the variance would do substantial justice because it would allow the owners to create the additional off-street parking spaces. It would allow for additional storage space on the property. It would remove the potential need for storing material possessions off-site, incurring recurring costs through storage units and things like that. And lastly, there are several properties in the surrounding neighborhoods that are already pictured inside these setbacks as well. I've kind of listed them there, a couple on Broken Ground and Tara, just the surrounding neighborhoods. We are I'll do myself damage here, but we're going to be the closest ones at 10.5 feet because the lot line carries back, but on the front we're about 12, so we kind of like canter a little bit.
Angled.
Yeah, we're angled slightly.
When you say we?
Well, me and the homeowners. I'm the one that gets to build it.
I see, okay.
So if the variance were granted, the values of surrounding properties would not be diminished because the proposed garage addition would not negatively impact surrounding property values. The structure is designed to blend seamlessly with the existing home's appearance. It maintains the neighborhood's aesthetics, and furthermore, the added functional garage and storage space aligns with what modern buyers are looking for today. This property was built in 1978. I think the needs of 1978 were vastly different than today. The homeowners are multi-generational. There's a ADU already on the property, an additional dwelling. The kids visit frequently. She watches the little ones, her grandkids, for her children. So the house is definitely a thriving unit. But again, this garage would add storage and value. Hardship. We believe that no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purposes of the ordinance provisions and the specific application of the provision to the property, because due to the width of the property, 114 feet across the front, the ordinance removes approximately 26% of the usable space across the front there. And this is the only reasonable place to put the garage would be on the left side, because there's a pool out back, and the addition that was put on several years ago is on the right side and protrudes towards the back of the property. So we believe that that hardship does exist because of the original lot design from 1978. It was much tighter.
And the garage is already, the current garage is what's the width on that now?
So there is a current two-car garage. It is approximately 22 by 22.
Where is that on the plan?
Let's go to the application materials. Is that it? Okay, perfect. So there is a two-car garage currently right there.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with it. small, really small. Entrance to the garage is approximately 7 feet tall, so SUV really wouldn't feel safe pulling into it.
So are you tearing down the existing garage or just adding on?
Nope, we're going to add the third garage here off this side. We would add an entrance so that you can seamlessly move from the existing two-car to the third. This 20-foot front would allow for a 16-foot door. I wonder if I have here we go. That is what we are kind of proposing. But a 16-foot door on the front. And again, he's a avid vintage car, so car enthusiast. He has a 68 Torino GT that he absolutely loves and adores, keeps it in the garage now. So this is kind of where he'll hopefully be storing and working on periodically.
You could increase the garage width, the driveway width?
No, he's keeping grass in the front.
There is an offshoot here, yes. We have not set that in stone as far as paved versus hard pack and gravel. That hasn't been determined yet. Having come right after the previous one, I guess I will be endeavoring to look at that distance and whether it applies to this far back in the driveway or more towards the apron and front.
Why 20 feet? Why the width of 20 feet?
So 20 foot would give us a 16-foot door on the front. You need 2-foot sides on the left and right. 20 feet is your outside dimensions. From a building perspective, your shear wall in the front, 16-foot door would need that versus, say, a standard
Okay,
9-foot door.
let me go further. Why a 16-foot door?
Standard's what, 9?
Yes, so 7 by 9, 8 by 9, yes. 9 feet wide is a traditional single stall door. 16 feet is what was requested for the desired space. He is looking at putting a small lift in, so that would require more room than, say, a traditional single stall.
I see.
But you could stack them vertically. My wife suffers from the same affliction with cars, so I totally understand what you're talking about. But couldn't you make the garage like narrower and longer and still have room for 2 cars? And just put the lift in the back?
Oh, there's a pool.
It's not gonna hit the pool,
I'm
though.
sorry. Let's go back to the site survey. So there is a,
I see the pool, but this wouldn't apparently impinge on it.
right. Well, I think with the lift in a single stall garage, it would be very tight to try to operate and work and still have a room.
I have a lift.
Oh.
What's the who's the neighbor to the northeast?
That I don't know.
Okay, I mean, what physically is there?
Oh,
It's another house.
yeah, they're on the corner.
Decent amount away from this house. There is a chain link fence on the property.
Yeah, I don't know how much I can access with this. I could try to pull up a street view if I can.
If you go back and then go to the maps that are attached, you should be able to see.
Just scroll down.
Oh, okay, go down to my stuff.
Yeah, and then
Get through
click
this.
map.
Maps. Yep, so
It's
we
their
do have some
garage.
room.
I noticed you've got cars parked in what on the new plan is labeled walkway.
That's what the survey says, paved walkway.
The aerial view shows a driveway.
It's a
And the
walkway
city's
it's being
notes.
parked on.
The city's notes indicate it's a driveway.
Second
An illegal
thoughts.
second driveway, but that's neither here nor there.
Staff still needs to look further into that. But we did want to make note of it to call it out as we saw it, because that is something that we would make note of in the building permit process if the variance was granted.
See, this one I have no argument.
Okay.
On that.
Any other questions? Any other questions for Mr.
Just
Beach?
walk me through the hardship associated with building a bigger garage than.
I think the hardship we just noted was strictly that, again, division, this subdivision, this section of Concord was developed in 1978. And again, when the property was built, single-car homes, things of that nature, people had less. Today's society, I think we would argue that we're more about our toys, we're about things like that, we're about our space and pursuit of our leisurely activities. So we would argue that, you know, the age of the development creates a hardship in the fact that today, I think somebody looking at this would say, you know, like, more space would be needed. I think that's what we're arguing here.
Other questions from the board? Is there anything else you'd like us to know?
No, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Is there anyone who would like to be heard in favor of this appeal? Is there anyone who'd like to be heard in opposition to it? Is there any further comment from planning? Did someone raise his hand? No. Is there any further comment from planning?
Nope, somebody.
I am the homeowner.
Would you like to testify?
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk about the existing garage.
Well, you can, but you need to come up and be sworn in and identified and join in the fun. You swear to tell the truth and nothing but?
I do.
Would you identify yourself for the record, please?
My name is Cynthia Christie, and I'm the owner. We've been the owner since 1995 on the property. The existing garage, as Brian had mentioned, is quite small. It was built back. We bought it in 95. The garage was on it. And what happens is it's a garage that it's tall in the front and it's short in the back and then comes down. So it's very limited with storage space in that garage as well. So that snow blowers, lawn mowers, things like that, it's a challenge to get 2 cars in there with all those items in there, and especially where my husband, we're retiring. I am retired, he's retiring next year. And, you know, that's why for vintage cars, it's not like we're selling cars. This is his retirement that he wants to do, is work on these vehicles, and especially the one that he's had for 20 plus years. But it's a challenge in the existing garage. Because of how that garage was built, it would have been a lot better if it was actually a full height garage, but it's not. I guess I don't know if they call them gables or whatever when the back drops down. But that garage is quite small, and like Brian said, getting a larger vehicle in, if you have a small Toyota Camry, it will fit in the garage, but SUVs are extremely hard to get in there with hitting the walls and things like that. So that's why the requested space for the larger garage is asked for my husband for the lift and to work on the vehicles, as well as to put the vehicles that I have. I have a van and for my grandkids and my own SUV, and that's one of the reasons.
Questions from the board? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to testify? Any comments from code enforcement or planning?
No, just
Very
basically.
good. With that, we'll close the public testimony portion of the hearing and move on to discussion. I'm going to start this one with Mr. Monahan. How do you see this one?
I'm not a yes yet. I think the hardship seemed to be a lot too small.
Mr. Wallner.
I'm struggling with this one. We're looking at garaging 1 extra car, basically, in a 20-foot wide garage. I think you can do it for less.
I don't see the hardship. I think you can build an additional garage that complies with the setbacks, and if the issue is the existing garage, then you can tear it down and make it bigger.
Same. I don't usually nitpick over a foot or 2 here or there, but I just, my 2 garage doors that are separated are 9 foot and 8 foot. That's 17 feet. He's asking for 16 for 1 car. I think this can be done without needing without having to go into the encroachment and need a variance.
Would anyone care to make I agree with my colleagues. Would anyone care to make a motion?
I can do it.
All right.
I move to deny the variance from section 2841D3 and 2841H to allow for a 10.5 foot setback where 15 feet is required on tax map 437/Z, Lot 57, located at 16 Broken Ground Drive, because evidence was not provided to demonstrate that there is an unnecessary hardship arising from the land as opposed to the circumstances of the owners.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? The vote is unanimous. The variance is denied. That moves us down to item 4.9, which is case 0438. Rolling Group LLC requests a variance to permit an 11.5-foot driveway width where a minimum of 24 feet is required for two-way traffic flow at 2123 Fayette Street in the downtown residential RD district. Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but?
I do, sir.
May we have your name, please?
It's Michael Malinowski with Allen and Major Associates. We're the civil engineers for the project. I'll pull up. We have an existing property at 21 Fayette Street. Its current use is a boarding house with approximately 12 bedrooms. Per our discussions with the building inspector, it's actually classified as a 5-family unit. The proposal is to convert it to a 4-family and make it true rentals. There's an existing garage at the back of the property. There is also an existing gravel driveway that is 11.5 feet wide that accesses the existing garage in the back. We are proposing 4 parking spaces that meets the requirement for the proposed density. It is similar to all of the other, the adjacent property to the south of the page, many of the other properties in that area. The original structure was constructed in 1890, which predates all of the zoning. We have no proposed exterior changes other than just conversion from a boarding house to a 4-unit residential. The variance is for the driveway width. The requirement is for a 24-foot wide 2-directional pathway. The current is 11.5 feet. We are proposing some additional safety measures, as you can see from the signage, to sort of help the future residents to know that they need to sort of look to make sure that other residents aren't coming through the back.
Very good. Are there questions from the board?
No, not on this one.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone who would like to be heard in favor of this appeal? Is there anyone who'd like to be heard in opposition? Is there any comment from the planning department?
This may seem like a little bit of a familiar case before you. They have substantially downsized because originally they were proposing 13 units when they first came to you back last year. They've downscaled it to 4 units. It is classified as a Romanian boarding house as he so specified, but it has not been in operation for a couple of years now with the Romanian boarding house. Going back to their parking requirement, they're allowed to keep their non-conforming as long as they're not expanding the exterior of the building. With that being said, they're not doing any of that. It's going to be interior renovations, converting that to the 4 units, and then they, per the zoning ordinance, they would need to come into compliance with today's parking standards, which would mean that they would need to have the 24 feet in width, such as the first request we heard this evening. So
They don't even have 24 feet of yard.
Very good. Thank you. All right. With that, we'll declare the public testimony portion of the hearing closed. And I'll invite discussion, starting with Ms. Perkins.
I gotta shut up tonight.
No, you're gonna talk.
No, I don't have an issue with this one. There is nowhere to put a 24-foot driveway. I think with 4 units, it's manageable and in the compliance of what it needs to be for this property.
Ms. Spector-Morgan.
I agree.
I agree.
As do I. Would anyone care to make a motion?
I can.
I move to grant the variance from section 28-7-7F to permit an 11.5-foot driveway width where a minimum of 24 feet is required for two-way traffic flow on tax map 7414/Z, lot 73, located at 21 to 23 Fayette Street in the downtown residential district. Because all the criteria under RSA 674-33 have been met. Based on the record before us, I move to adopt the applicant's proposed findings as the board's findings of fact.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded, but I'm not sure by whom.
She can have it.
Okay, thank you.
Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? The vote is unanimous. The variance is granted.
Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome. That brings us to item 4.11, which is case 0440, Tom Heck on behalf of Silly Veterinary Clinic. And they're requesting an amendment to a variance previously approved in 2002 by modifying the condition of the approval to allow the maximum number of employees to be increased from 11 to 20 employees. This would happen at 37 Ironworks Road in the single-family residential RS district. This application would also correct the scrivener's error identifying section 2877E to the correct citations of 28772EM, which is something that's been keeping me up at night.
We can go into that later.
Gentlemen, do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Would you identify yourselves for the records, please?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm Ari Pollack with the Gallagher Callahan Law Firm, here for the applicant, and to my right is Tom Heck, who is a doctor of veterinary medicine. He's the landowner. He's also the principal operator of the veterinary practice located at the property. The application seeks a modification of a prior variance granted by this board in 2002, and actually the initial zoning relief for the establishment of the veterinary practice dates back to 1969, which may be the first time that I've been referring to something that was here longer than you.
Could be.
Hard to do.
Could be.
The prior variances allowed for the establishment and then the expansion of the clinic, which resulted in the structure and facility that's there today. The 2002 variance included a condition of approval that there be no more than 11 employees working at the clinic. We are asking that that condition be modified to allow for up to 20 employees to be working at the clinic, in particular the busier day shift. Our reasons are straightforward. The practice is busy, it's growing, it needs more staff to operate, meet patient needs. Veterinary medicine, animal technician jobs are highly sought after, part of a growing animal care industry. The practice is not proposing any expansion of its physical facilities and would operate in the same way that it does today. It just simply needs more people to do the jobs that they do thoroughly. The building stays the same, so as best we can tell, the additional employees really could only impact things like parking. And so we have created this exhibit that's on the screen that shows that the clinic has the ability to park 15 staff and customer vehicles on premises at any given time. There's also available on-street parking on Ironworks Road. The clinic is actually located across from Russell Martin Park, so the public is accustomed to having some on-street parking there using the park and even using the veterinary clinic. And it is, for those of you familiar with Ironworks Road, it's also right down the street from the state park and ride at exit 2 off 89, which provides the staff with some carpooling options as well. Additionally, the staff has been, or Dr. Heck, I should say, has been in communication with a direct abutter down here about leasing or licensing some space on their property to park what would be an additional 6 cars, and they actually have agreed to that license, and it was signed today, is my understanding. So we spoke with staff about the best way to essentially advocate for a modification of a condition. And we thought the best way to do it was to go through the variance criteria, even though we're talking about modifying a variance that was already granted. And so the variance would not be, or the modification, I should say, would not be contrary to the public interest, because it would allow an existing business that's been legal non-conforming for forever to continue to hire and grow while the building and the facility is not expanding physically. Excuse me. The additional employees can be accommodated with a combination of on-site parking, on-street parking, park and ride carpooling, and now the ability to utilize a portion of the direct abutters property for off-street parking as well. Interestingly, the variance is actually, the parking on the property is consistent with the ordinance, and in particular Article 7, where it talks about 1 space per 500 square feet of veterinary practice. In this case, the tax card, at least I haven't gone out and measured, but the tax card talks about 5,319 square feet or 11 parking spaces. And so it's odd to me that the condition existed in the first place, but we can meet and beat that metric on site, and we can supplement with the various alternatives that we've discussed. Substantial justice would be done because adding staff will allow the clinic to better serve its clients and its patients, again, while managing parking, loading, as we've discussed. And surrounding property values would not be diminished in that the use, the building, the facility is there today. It's not expanding. The number of employees within the walls may go up slightly, but all of the services would be the same as they are today. And as to hardship, we think the use is reasonable in that it's existed in its current use with no expansion proposed, and there's really no relationship between the employee restriction and the terms of the ordinance, since a sufficient amount of on-street and off-street parking exists as needed. The special condition of the property that justifies relief is that the property is already developed as a veterinary practice, and it's operating in a way that is artificially restricted by the condition, whereas lifting that condition would allow it to grow without impact to that which surrounds it. We tried to keep it simple. We think it is simple, and we're happy to take your questions and appreciate your consideration.
Thank you. Before we proceed, I have a question for Kirsten. There's a mention in the staff guidance of a side yard setback.
That was a Scrivener's error on my end.
Ah.
I was going to own up to that when we got to the motion.
Okay.
Portions.
I was
So I'll
nice
own
enough.
up to that now. I sent Ari the corrected version and neglected you guys, so
I was nice enough to call her out on it, and she made a revision and sent me the new one, but maybe you didn't receive it.
I did not.
That sentence was deleted.
Okay.
How many did you say are currently required?
Say that again, please.
How many spaces are currently required?
Under the current ordinance, it would be 11, 500. So I'm not.
So they wouldn't even need a variance?
They wouldn't, not for parking. And so this is why I say I'm not sure what the origin of that condition was in 2002, except, look, maybe it's just because the use was also allowed by variance back in 1969.
Well, it looks like
and it's
they
still a
granted a
residential.
variance to allow 12 parking spaces where 13 were required. So there was a parking variance.
That also doesn't make any sense to me, and it was weird that they would have an 11-person restriction, but then say 12 spaces is fine.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, it probably was, they were assuming there'd be a certain number of spaces used by people bringing animals to be treated, I imagine.
Right, comings and goings and dropping off, right.
I mean, I don't remember the details of the case.
Why not?
It's just, it's a hot day, and I'm a little slower than I might be otherwise. All right, other questions from the board?
Yeah, a couple. Are you asking that the variance be conditioned on the leasing of the 6 additional spaces?
No, I mean, I don't think we would have an issue with that because we have signed that lease, but we think that we can manage 20 employees with or without that condition.
And the other option, you're the it's up to you to do it. I mean, you could have come in and to ask to remove the number of employee restrictions and just rely on the parking requirements under the ordinance, right?
We could have. We think 20 will do it. We didn't want to stray too far from the variances that allowed the clinic to exist in the first place.
Right.
Other questions from the board?
Is it typical in a building this size to have an employee restriction? Like I know,
No.
Like if you have a realtor office in your home, you're restricted to only one outside person that could work there. But I guess I didn't realize that it could be a restriction.
Well, so this is what I'm saying, that, we didn't want to retrade the history of, 50 plus years of legal nonconformity by asking that conditions be removed completely. I wasn't here in 2002, and I don't know what the flavor of the discussion was. But I do think that it is unusual, and there are certain uses like home occupations, like you're referring to, that do need restrictions because you're doing something in an area where a significant amount of traffic would have an impact. In this case, 15 on-site spaces is a significant amount for what otherwise is a residential area.
And is it the plan to have all 20 employees working at the same time every day, or is it just so you have enough staff to have throughout the whole week?
That would be the busiest shift, would be up to 20 employees, and that would be your daytime hours. And when you start thinking about what you see at a veterinary practice, you've got your front office staff, you've got your practicing veterinarians, you've got your technicians that are staffing the exam rooms, you've got the patient boarding areas, and so it adds up quickly, and there are a lot of people in these buildings.
Yeah.
Other questions from the board? Is there anything else you'd like us to know?
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone here who would like to be heard in favor of this appeal? Is there anyone here who would like to be heard in opposition to it? Any comments from planning?
Other than my Scrivener's error in the motion, going back to the other Scrivener's error, when the board had previous approved this in 2002, I'd gone back to the zoning ordinance of 2001 to look at our parking requirements then. Nothing has changed since 2002 regarding the parking requirements that I could see for this, other than it was noticed incorrectly at that time, so that is why we are correcting that Scrivener's error now. And that's pretty much it. It would just be to amend, like Mr. Pollock has said.
Very good. Thank you. With that, we'll declare the public testimony portion of the hearing closed, and I will invite the board to discuss the case. Let's start this one with Mr. Wallner. How do you see it, Mr. Wallner?
I don't have a problem with the increase of employees and the way they're going to deal with parking.
So you would vote in favor of modifying the variance?
I would.
Mr. Monahan, how do you see it?
Yeah, I just think it's a goofy condition to limit the number of employees, but it's the applicant's choice to modify it, so I'm inclined to support.
Ms. Victor Morgan.
It sounds like a variance isn't even necessary, so I have no problem removing the restriction.
I agree.
I agree with my colleagues. Would anyone care to make a motion?
Well, they're not asking to remove the asking to
Modifying
change the
the
restriction.
condition,
Yeah.
yes.
Just bang it out of there. Would anyone care to make a motion?
I'll read it. I move to grant the amendment to the variance previously approved in 2002 by modifying the condition of approval to allow the maximum number of employees to be increased from 11 to up to 20 employees. 2002 variances were from section 2884A3 and 2884C1, common nonconforming uses, to permit expansion of a building housing an existing nonconforming veterinary clinic, together with variances to Article 2877E, Table of Off-Street Parking Requirements, to permit the provision of only 12 parking spaces where 13 were required, and to Article 2877G, Parking Setbacks and Restrictions, to permit parking within the required front yard. All on tax map 8722Z, lot 16, located at 37 Ironworks Road in the single-family residential district. Because all of the criteria under RSA 674-33 have been met based on the record before us, and I move to adopt the applicant's proposed findings as the board's findings of fact.
Is there a second?
Second, with a small modification, Laura should have mentioned, can we change it to 20 full-time equivalent employees? So we don't have to
Absolutely.
mess around with part-time and,
Yes.
yep, okay.
Very good. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The vote is unanimous. The request is granted, the variance is modified. That brings us down to item 4.12, which is case number 0441. Brian Perry, on behalf of the Perry Family Joint Revocable Trust, requests a variance to allow for a 25-foot side yard setback where 40 feet are required to permit the reconstruction of a barn in its current non-conforming location at 207 Oak Hill Road in the Open Space RO District. Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but?
Yes.
Would you identify yourselves for the record, please?
Yes, my name is Brian Perry, I'm the property owner.
Sean Peters, Dream Barns, I'm a contractor.
What would you like us to know, gentlemen?
I don't know if the files are available to pull up.
Yep, they're linked. Oh, jeez. I think there's not up on the screen.
I know that's not my barn.
clinic.
You have a big barn. No. All right. Sorry about that. There should be right there.
So thank you for the opportunity. The application for the variance is to replace an existing barn on the property. My wife and I bought the property in 2020. There was a equipment shed / barn on the property that's 25 feet from my western barn. We're on a large 53-acre parcel on the east side of Concord. My neighbor that abuts that side of the property is on a 22-acre parcel. The barn itself is about 300 feet back from Oak Hill Road, up in a large wooded area. The hardship for me would be, I physically can't move the barn to the right 15 feet further away from the property line because of how the topography of the land falls away there. So it's really up against I'll call it a gully that goes down into that area that I would not be able to fill or backfill. And if I were to shrink the size of the structure, I've got several tractors and other pieces of equipment that I use to maintain the property that I would have to then store outside, which defeats the purpose of having the barn replaced. The existing barn that's there, as I said, has been there for a number of years. There's a lot of rot and other things going wrong with it, the roof and all that, and it really does need to be replaced. So what I'm asking for is just to be able to replace it on the existing footprint that's there today.
Very good. Questions from the board? It's my understanding that if this barn were to burn down rather than being torn down, they could simply rebuild it, correct?
Yeah, essentially, if there's an act of God.
Not that I'm making a suggestion.
But would I take your suggestion? Unless the fire department needs a training building that they want to use, you could volunteer something like that.
So that's not a condition of the.
So,
Thank you, gentlemen. Is there anyone here who would like to be heard in favor of this appeal? Is there anyone here who would like to be heard in opposition to it? Any other comments from the planning department?
yeah, so just to elaborate on your question is that per 28.8.6a, a nonconforming structure shall not be reconstructed except except in conformity with provisions of the ordinance. The destruction of a nonconforming structure shall be deemed to have occurred where any of the following are met. The cost of repair of damage is more than the 75% replacement cost of the structure, or the nonconforming structure has been found unsafe and unlawful by reason of physical condition due to the lack of repairs and maintenance, and has been declared by any duly authorized public official. And we are not aware that it has been deemed that by any public official.
Okay, very good. With that, we'll declare the public testimony portion of the hearing closed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I will invite the board to chat about this one. Start this one, Mr. Wallner. How do you see the barn on
It's
Oak?
starting with me every day, the case now. But I'm fine.
I'm getting sort of in a rut, aren't I?
You've lost control of the circus this evening.
Yeah, goodness. It's not even my monkeys.
think historically, I mean, we can't do precedents, but we've always, anytime you use a similar footprint or the exact footprint for any project, we've pretty much seen that as a done deal.
Jim?
Yeah, I think the hardship is associated with the topography of the land, which is probably why it's where it is now. I support it.
Laura?
I don't think they should even need a variance, so absolutely I'm in favor of granting it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay, I am too. I think that's a rule we could change,
We can't. Plenty more could.
but someone,
Someone should.
someone important
somebody
should change that
could.
rule. Not us. All right. Would anyone care to make a motion?
I move to grant the variance from section 2841D3 and 2841H to allow for a 25-foot yard side setback where 40 feet are required to permit the reconstruction of a barn in its current nonconforming location on tax map 23/Z lot 9 located at 207 Oak Hill Road in the open space RO district because all of the criteria under RSA 674-33 have been met based on the record before us, and I move to adopt the applicant's proposed findings as the board's findings of fact.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? The vote is unanimous. The variance is granted. And that brings us to item 4.14, which is case 0443. And Christopher James is requesting a variance to permit the sale or rental of motor vehicles other than construction equipment where the use is prohibited at 131 Old Turnpike Road in the Industrial IN District. Is Mr. James here? It does not appear that there is anybody here to represent Mr. James. All right, what we'll do is we'll move on to the other two cases.
Good timing.
Stepped outside. He was here.
It's quite all right. Swear to tell the truth and nothing but.
I do.
Please have a seat, identify yourself for the record, and fill us in on why you believe a variance is appropriate.
My name is Michael Christopher. I'm looking to apply for my dealer's license. Sorry, stairs are.
Do we have your name wrong on the agenda?
Well, James is the owner of the property.
Oh.
That's my brother.
Okay.
He's given me permission to, speak on his behalf, since this will be my venture going forward.
Got it, got it. Okay, please proceed.
So I was just looking for a variance apparently to sell motor vehicles out of this location. They're all surrounded by similar businesses, mostly auto body repair shops. My brother owns the exhaust shop in the front of the building. So when I applied for the dealer's license, they reach out to the city to make sure it's okay to sell vehicles in that spot. I reached out to make sure and was told at the moment it's not variance for sales at the moment. So there'll be no physical changes to the property or the building other than a sign and maybe a couple vehicles out front to sell. It'll just be a one-man operation. There's an 1,100 square foot shop in the back of the building where I would like to operate out of.
And can you speak to the hardship?
I'm confused on the hardship. It's my first time, so.
There has to be something about your property that renders it differently burdened by the ordinance than other properties around you. So why should you be able to sell cars when it's not allowed in the district? What about the property would justify that?
I mean, I don't know of any hardships, so I'm confused how that all works. It's, like I said, most of it's all automotive related. I'm not sure why it's not zoned for sales, as the new car dealership is only less than a minute drive. We can access their dealership from where I'm
Is that
at.
a used car shop, like 2 doors down?
New car?
Used car
But is it called
sales?
new car sales?
Is it a car
Yeah,
sales
yes.
place just 2 doors down from you?
2 doors down, no, I believe that is repairs, auto body.
Oh, okay.
Right
Well,
next door is South Main Auto Repair, and I would be in the same building as Lou's Custom Exhaust.
okay, and then what's on the other side of South Main? I see a building with a ton of cars in the front of it and a sign that I cannot read above it.
On South Main, there's many businesses.
No, I didn't, not South Main, next to the business next to you, the second building away. I'm looking at this image, but I can't make clear what the sign is.
I want to say it might be a pet shop,
It's
2 doors down.
Staff now?
12 cars in front of it,
No.
on the front
I
lawn.
think we're looking at the wrong spot.
131.
Sandy's.
I'm sorry, I'm on the right one.
Sandy's,
Sandy's is over that way too.
yeah, if you're looking at this location,
131 Old Turnpike
road,
Road.
to the left, I think that would be, it's called South Main Street Auto Repair Facility.
Yeah, and they have 2 buildings and they fix cars.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah,
maybe
so
that's
they're
the
probably
second
all-
building that the cars are all in front of? Okay.
I believe
They,
so.
they just park cars.
It looked like
There's
it
like a
was-
lot next to that too, where it looks like there's a lot of abandoned vehicles in there.
Yeah.
So I'm not exactly sure
It
what
looked like
that's
car
used for.
sales, the way they
That's
have
exactly
parked in
what
the
it-
front.
I was surprised when I called that it wasn't zoned for sales. You know, the new car is not even a minute ride from where I am, and you can access from the same road.
Right.
Off of Manchester Street.
Correct.
Yeah.
Manchester and Old
Carlson's.
Turnpike, they're right on
Different
that
zone?
corner.
Let me look that
Yeah.
up. That's what I was doing. I was trying to.
So Manchester Street is zoned differently than Old Turnpike Road, is that accurate?
I'm guessing so, because there's a lot of dealers on Manchester, I think.
Now,
Yeah, so, well, that one is considered the GWP, I believe, GWP district. Let me
That would be
just-
Gateway Performance.
Yep,
oh, yeah.
and,
You're in industrial.
yep,
Yeah.
Yes.
so it's a different zone.
So is there, so it's just not allowed at all? Or is it
In
some?
an it's only allowed within the, I believe, CG and CH. I'm looking that up right now, though.
That's definitely not allowed here.
It's only allowed in the CH.
CH, okay.
So we only allow dealerships in one district.
Very good. Any other questions from the board? Anything else you'd
No,
like?
just so the applicant understands, we're kind of a little constrained here because it's not zoned for that type of retail activity. So, without the hardship that Laura talked about, it's hard for us, it's kind of outside of our bounds to get to yes and stuff like this. That doesn't mean the city council couldn't make a change in the zoning
Right.
district.
And the reason I was fishing for more information is because you're only really planning on 1 or 2 cars at a time, not a dealership, but the category is, it's a dealership. If you're selling cars out of it, so it's not something we can easily do.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone here who wishes to speak in favor of this appeal? Is there anyone who wishes to be heard in opposition to it? Is there any further comment from the planning office? Very good. With that, we will close the public testimony portion of the hearing, and I will invite the board to discuss this case, and I'm going to start this one with Ms. Perkins and give Mr. Wallner a break.
Thank you.
It's my 3rd time tonight, too. Yeah, I feel bad. It looks like a very obvious location to easily sell a couple cars out of the front, but like Ms. Spector Morgan said, there's no hardship.
Ms. Spector Morgan.
There's no hardship, and I think it might also alter the essential character of the neighborhood because there aren't any other car dealers in the immediate neighborhood.
Mr. Monahan.
I feel like he could repair them in the back and then sell them on his front yard at home.
Yeah, I have nothing to add.
Mr. Wallner.
You know, I know in other zoned areas, we've allowed that kind of mixed use, but I think we're pretty stuck on this one.
I'm afraid you're right.
How close is the Gateway Performance industrial zone line?
It's quite a bit.
Probably at
Some
least-
distance.
Probably at
It's-
least a mile,
Yeah,
half a
but-
mile.
So Old Turnpike Road is not
If
at
it
all
was
in.
like bordering that district.
So you know the manufactured home park on Manchester Street?
Mhm.
Kind of like goes
Yeah.
around Old Turnpike in that one. It starts, it's like a weird, I'll show you.
A weird shape.
Let me show you. It's easier to explain than show you than try to explain it. So here's the property here, and then you go all the way. So see how it starts kind of jumping around to different districts, and then that GWP is kind of a weird.
How about the other end on Manchester Street?
So the CH district actually starts. You got a couple here, and then CH, and then I believe the CH goes right up to Integra, and then it switches back over and it goes back to industrial.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, with that, we'll declare the public testimony portion of the hearing closed. I think, oh, we already did that and we deliberated. Would anyone, time for a motion?
I'll make a motion. I move to deny the variance from section 2824JJ1 at tax map 634Z lot 12 located at 131 Old Turnpike Road in the industrial district because evidence was not provided showing that there is an unnecessary hardship arising from the property and because the variance would be contrary to the public interest and not observe the spirit of the ordinance because it would alter the essential character of the neighborhood.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion to deny? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The vote is unanimous. The motion is denied, or the variance is denied. That brings us to item 4.15, which is case 0444. James Robinson, on behalf of Concord Center LLC, requests variances to allow a restaurant with no drive-through service with or without entertainment and a commercial kennel where the uses are prohibited on tax map 88Z at 134 Hall Street, Unit H in the Industrial IN District. Is there someone here? Please come forward. You swear to tell the truth and nothing but.
I do.
Would you identify yourself for the record as you testify, please?
My name is James Robinson. I am the owner of the Hoppy Dog LLC. I was here previously for
Have a seat. Have a seat.
54 North State Street, and a variance was granted. Unfortunately, my agreement with the landlord fell through. They decided they didn't want to move in that direction, concerns about dogs and that sort of thing. So I had to go looking at another space, and unfortunately, no matter where I go in any zone, I'm going to at least have to get a variance or a special exception because of the classifications that I'm in, particularly the commercial kennel. And so here I am again to speak to you guys and see what we can do.
So you want to be down on Hall Street now?
That's correct.
Do we have a plan of that area?
You want to do a restaurant and a kennel? Right.
That's correct. So essentially what I'm looking to open is what's called a dog bar. There's many of them in other parts of the country. The most closest to here is a place called Park 9 in Everett, Massachusetts.
Not even familiar.
Down south, they're all over the place. And essentially, it's a place where it's really a social space for you to go hang out with your dogs, other people who have dogs, and also be able to get a drink and maybe some light food. And it's a concept that we really believe in, and we love our dog and like to be able to spend time with them. And we know lots of other people who do as well, and there's not a lot of places you can go with your dog to be able to do something like that, especially where they can play together. And the unique part about this is it's an indoor off-leash dog park, so that, and you have to check in, you have to pay to use it, and, you know, vaccinations, all that sort of thing. And so there's that control as well.
This is that large commercial area, industrial.
Correct.
So I know there's other like food.
Yes, yeah, so there's
Places.
Litherman's, Limited Breweries right there.
Yeah. There's like a bakery or something on.
Yeah, Aisa's right there. The Grand Estate Candy is in the same general area. There used to be a cafe there a long time ago.
Yes.
At one time.
And 603 Barbecue.
And 603 Barbecue was there, and they actually have like a catering kitchen now there.
Would the dogs be indoors?
They would. We do hope to, I think, eventually put in an outdoor space, play area in addition to the indoor space. Primarily, it would be an indoor dog park.
How much space do you have? The unit is H, I don't think is identified on the.
Yeah, it's Unit H, and it is approximately 5,000 square feet. Most of which is would be the dog park. There's 650 square feet, which would be for the tap room. So that'd be a very, just beer and wine, potentially cocktails, and then very light
Not for the
foods.
dogs.
Yeah. Mainly for humans.
Yeah. So, who would your neighbors in the building be?
So I'm trying to think who's immediately next to us. Because on one side, there's actually nobody. So this is an end unit, I believe, or there's our unit, and then I think there's some stuff there that's being used for storage right now. So I don't think there's any actual business at the very end. And then there's somebody's got some kind of outdoor fenced area with vehicles in it, and I don't know what's there.
Okay.
And to the other side, I can't off the top of my head remember the name of the business that's right there. But there's a wide range of different businesses. And, you know, the Concord Business Center is, I've heard it described recently as like an incubator, right, for lots of small, newer businesses. The owner there, I think, recently sold the building. He'd been there for years and years and years, and lots of smaller businesses had started there.
Right. Okay. Other questions from the board?
Yeah, I just had a question on the kennel. When I think kennel, I think overnight.
Yeah, that's not our intention. So the reality is that this classification is the only classification it would fit in. It doesn't really apply. We don't intend to do boarding at all.
Oh, you just need this classification in order to allow the animals into the building with people to have a drink.
Yes. Now, one thing in this case, when I was applying for 254 North State Street, I did stipulate that we wouldn't do any daycare or grooming because the owner of that building did not want that. In this location, I would like to keep those things open if possible. It's not our primary focus, but we do know that there is some demand in the community for daycare in particular because people are having a hard time. And so that's not our primary goal, but if I don't need to have that stipulation, I might like to keep it open. If we could help in that way, we would try to.
Does that fall under the commercial kennel parameters already?
Yes.
So if we proved it as the commercial kennel, then you would already have it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but we can, if you wanted to stipulate no boarding, we would be fine with that.
Staff is suggesting as one of the conditions to stipulate that restriction at this time, just so that
it gets readdressed.
The materials as they're presented right now is not enough information to make a full assessment on what may or may not be additionally required, like a site plan or parking or things like that. So we're suggesting to add that condition.
Okay. Do you understand what she's saying?
which
To
condition?
restrict the, if you're to grant the variance, to make a condition that there shall be no boarding, training, or daycare at this facility.
No daycare either?
Correct.
Okay.
It would have to be something later when it becomes an apparent part of your plan, you'd have to apply for a new variance for that.
Okay. I mean, we're okay with that. We only, had.
Because it sounds like no matter what, if you're doing something with animals, he's gonna need a variance.
Yes.
And I think it's gonna be a larger issue regarding health.
Right.
That we
Right.
would need
Because
to
of that
have those
location.
further conversations.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a whole.
It's just to get the global view of the full operation, whereas right now, he's simply
Yeah.
trying to start this portion of the business.
Yeah.
So we
I
wanna
mean,
at
if
least
that's
get
what we
through
need to
that.
do, I'm fine with that. I don't want to make it any more complicated.
So is this use allowed anywhere in the city?
I don't believe by right
Well,
at
no,
anywhere.
because we have two separate uses.
Right.
We're going off of a previous, when the assistant city planner for zoning had made that determination. So that's what we're,
Because when No Monkey Business was here, we sort of decided that was just not a use that was contemplated by the ordinance.
at that time, because I was under the impression that when No Monkey Business went into smoke, there was
Not
no
there,
variance.
when they wanted just the large space to let dogs run around. So you could have one person, one dog.
Right, there was another one on
It was recent.
Regional or Regional
Yeah.
Drive or somewhere
Yeah.
up by Regional Drive.
Yeah, I
that you
actually looked at
approved
that
for a
case
daytime
for,
space.
for when I wrote.
Okay, I'm not familiar with those.
Okay.
So I cannot
Sorry.
speak to that at that point, but
No worries. That
we
wasn't
do.
that long ago either.
Yeah. Was I sitting here?
That was back.
No, you weren't here.
Okay.
Yeah, that was back in, I think that was March.
Yeah, it was.
I think that was March.
It didn't fit in the ordinance.
And this is almost,
And I
so
think we
this,
have the same
this is
thought.
actually almost the same thing, except with the addition of an attached restaurant.
Yep.
Very good. Any other questions from the board?
I'm going to ask a question of, we don't want the applicant here. The previously approved application, what was that smokestack?
Smokestack.
That
Is
was-
that an industrial zone or is that?
It's actually a split zone. It's institutional and RO, I believe, or R. Let me.
The
254.
area that I was in was institution, I believe.
Yeah. The parcel, yeah, it's split by two zones. So the building itself and majority of the parking and everything is in the IS district, which is the institutional district. And then the back portion closest to the railroad tracks and the river is the RO.
Okay.
I guess I would too just be curious, the landlord is already on board with the idea that you have.
Yes. So I'm working with the current lessee and the new landlord.
Yeah.
And they're on board with the idea.
Any other questions from the board? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
With that, we'll ask, is anyone here who would like to testify in favor of the variance? Is anyone here who would like to testify in opposition? Any comments from planning?
Other than just if you're going to approve, we would
Make that subject.
There's two conditions we're recommending.
Yeah.
Right now, neither restaurants nor kennels are allowed.
Correct, in the industrial district.
Okay. With that,
Kennel one's hard though, there's, I'm sorry.
with that, we'll declare the public testimony portion of the hearing closed, and I'm going to start
So many questions.
this one
tonight.
with Ms. Spector-Morgan. How do you see it?
I think given the nature of the use that does not clearly fall into a category of use that we have, he would need a variance pretty much to go anywhere. So the question then becomes, is this an appropriate place for it? And it seems like in an industrial zone, in an industrial park, it actually is sort of the perfect place for it. I don't think it's going to alter the essential character of the neighborhood. I don't think it's going to diminish surrounding property values. I don't see necessarily a gain to the city from denying it. And the hardship in this case doesn't so much arise from the land, but from the use. So I would be inclined to grant it with the conditions suggested by staff.
Is that the way you look at it, Mr. Monahan?
I think so. The previous case was hard and fast, it's industrial zone, you can't sell cars. right? And now we're looking industrial zone, and this is murkier because they didn't contemplate this activity. The other thing I would note is there's so much, this Hall Street stuff, there's so much more than industrial activity going on there. The city should really think about some sort of change to the zone. Because if you get there's restaurants and trampoline parks and bakeries, I mean, so I'm inclined to.
Utilities.
So I am inclined to support it. I appreciate the staff's recommendations about being careful that it doesn't become more than what the applicant is asking for.
Very good.
I'm inclined to agree too.
Yeah, me too.
Very good. Would anyone care to make a motion?
I move to grant the variance from sections 2824J, I2, and M8 to allow a restaurant with a drive-through service with or without entertainment and a commercial kennel. Because all of the criteria under RSA 674-33 have been met based on the record before us, and I move to adopt the applicant's findings as those of the board. I would impose 2 conditions of approval. The variance is limited to allowing operations consistent with the submission materials provided by the applicant and their testimony at the public hearing, indoor dog park and restaurant, and there shall be no boarding, training, or daycare of dogs at the facility.
Is there a second?
Does that cover what you were hoping for? Okay.
Yes.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? The vote is unanimous. The variance is granted. And that brings us to item 4.16, which is case 04. You're welcome. 0445. Christopher and Alicia Roy request a variance to allow for a rear setback of 25 feet where 50 feet is required and a 25-foot side setback where 40 feet is required, allowed at 17 Villanova Drive in the open space RO district. Swear to tell the truth and nothing but.
Yes.
Would you identify yourselves for the record, please?
My name is Alicia Roy. I am the homeowner of 17 Villanova Drive. I have lived there for the last 10 years, almost 11, since 2015. This is...
Jim Griffin, J2 Custom Homes Contractor.
Ken Griffin?
Jim Griffin?
Jim.
Sorry.
What would you like us to know?
So we are seeking a variance to encroach on the 40-foot setback that is on the side of the property. It's really difficult to see in that picture, and I apologize. Okay, so this one's a little...
You want to go to, you probably want to go to your application materials.
Yeah. Where's...
Last case.
Okay. Okay, so a little history about the this property. And kind of demographically where it is. It sits on a private road, Villanova Drive, that comes off of Carter Hill Road. That's up on the west end of Concord. You know, Carter Hill Apple Orchard essentially abuts that. So if you're thinking, if you've ever been there visually, you need to take into consideration that it is a mountain. It's completely, the topography of it is just a constant incline. When you look at the property and how much land for Concord, that's a lot, 2.5 acres. However, most of it is also wetlands. Everything that sits to this area of the property that would be abutting Carter Hill is all wetland property. So we can't touch it. We don't want to. There's a lot of culverts and running water that goes through it. And in fact, on the other side of Carter Hill Road is the watershed and the Pennacook Lake, which supplies the water supply for Concord. So anything that we do for this property, we always take into consideration what does that mean for runoff and any kind of effect to those wetlands. again, what you're not seeing in these photos, which is kind of unfortunate, I do have enough to hand everyone, a color copy of the property that kind of like looks like this.
Print them out for you if you want. Okay. Of all stuff. Give me a chance to stretch my legs.
We got a map there. Thank you.
So,
I seem to have several copies. Oh, it's a whole package.
yeah, it's everything. Some towns don't have the technology you guys do.
Yeah, we're whizzes at technology.
As you can tell. Huh?
Yeah.
You have an extra one?
We got it totally knocked.
I ran out of color.
You can have mine when I'm done.
I just want to make sure we have it for the record. That's
So you want to build a garage.
Yes. So if you're looking at the photo provided, where the cars are sitting, that is essentially where the garage would go.
And it says both a rear yard setback?
So at
Staff
the
decided rear wasn't required.
Okay.
Yeah, at the time that we applied for the variance, we didn't know if the rear yard setback was going to be needed or encroached upon because of the dynamics of the property and where it actually sits.
Okay.
Once we got a plot plan approved by a surveyor done, they showed that it wouldn't encroach the rear setback.
So we're calling this the side yard.
Yes, that's another thing. I didn't notice in the zoning ordinances for the city of Concord what they considered the frontage of a property. Most towns consider the frontage being the one that sits on the public way. Because my property, it abuts both like Villanova Drive that comes up and then across the top. So really, I mean, you're looking at another additional corner lot issue that you guys have, but in this case, it's on 3 sides, not just 2. But
you're only encroaching on one side.
On one side, unless, well, yeah, on one side regardless. It's just a matter of, I believe it's a 40-foot setback per the open space district. However, if you consider the side that Villanova runs on, if that's still considered frontage, would it be a 50-foot setback?
Well, I guess
they're
the
calling it a
determination is
side,
40.
So, side.
Yeah, it's working in your.
So 40 is your, 40 is your
40,
number.
perfect. Now, according, like, as you see on the picture, there are cars that sit further, it doesn't align. Like, if we put in the garage and it just goes straight across, that's what we want, because it will be consistent with how properties look in the area and also just architecturally uniform and structurally uniform. If it sits backer and we push it out of the setback, even by a little, right now it's 283 square feet in the setback per the survey given.
268,
268, sorry, 0.6.
encroaching by 13.3.
Yeah. If we were to push it back and not align with the house, we're still in the setback, we'd still need the variance. But then at that point, we'd have to fill in the land because the property or the driveway only goes so far. It drops off completely.
Toward the reservoir.
There'll be no impact to the driveway. It's existing driveway. It's actually 1 foot less than the existing house dimensions, which are 27. So this will be 26 by 28. Just going to drive right in, and she'd go right into the hallway, and it just works out perfect for her.
Yeah. Why does it need to be so big? We've had this conversation once tonight, we might as well have it again.
Yes, so the 28 feet length, we considered going down to 26, but even then, at that point, we're still within the setback.
I mean, if you would only have, 13, 28, take away 13, you'd have a 15, 14-foot garage. Put a motorcycle in.
We could, if you're thinking if it's a 13-foot to be completely out of the setback, that would require us to move our driveway, to go up this way, over this way, and then down. Let's see a better picture here, right here, to go down this way. Even then, it would be very significantly short. However, setting that aside, my well is right here. So we've considered that because, as you can see right here, there's a right of way over from one of the other owners in the terrible subdivision. You guys probably already heard of like Kevin Guay, and he's like ostracized from city of Concord. Yes, these lots were terrible. They at first did not want to give us this right of way because it was on their land. However, it was the only way we can access the property due to the well being placed up in this area. So, and the fact that the topography alone, it's flat right where my house is and 20 feet all the way around, but everything else about that, it just drops off or goes up.
Is there a house on the property that you cross with your driveway?
No. Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Where is
so,
that? Doesn't appear in this lot.
It's yeah, you got, hold on, one second.
Very far back.
Yeah,
It's huge.
so, again, this is.
Technically considered Carter Hill? Or is
No,
it still
no,
down
it's still part of.
Yeah, let's see, search. I'll show you 12.
You got one that could handle it for you.
I feel like I'm at planning board.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
That's the neighbor's lot?
Yeah, so they.
And where are you on this?
I am right here.
Okay.
So, again, Kevin Guay, I mean, he went to prison for the stuff that he did on this lot and another one on Clinton Street.
I think he's passed.
I don't know if he's out, he was, maybe he did, but regardless.
Unfortunately, he doesn't justify a variance.
No,
so
absolutely not.
we have to talk
So,
about your situation.
one of the reasons why I bring him up is, one, everything about my house is wrong, but two, not only is the well right here, he did not get the site approvals or anything for the septic. The septic used to be in the back, right here, ran across the property. It failed, as everybody else on this subdivision did, and we found out that it had to be moved per DES to, for the criteria of that. So that actually takes up the entire side of my property on this side. So we're pretty blocked when it comes to space. So.
And I could see when you were zoomed out, the house on that lot is way in the back.
This one?
The yellow.
Your
the
other,
yellow
your neighbor's house.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Oh, they have a 2-mile driveway all the way up the mountain.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, but setting that aside.
Okay.
And then, as you can also see, all of the rivers that run through that drain right into the Pennacook Lake. On the site, or this plan, I definitely included to show you where the wetlands were actually delineated, to help show why we want to keep it away. Please keep in mind that none of the houses were built to this plan that was approved by the planning board. So the house that has the 2-mile driveway is right here, but that's not where it sits, and there's no house there. So we come to the conundrum, and also the big question of, is this a hardship? We cannot have a garage, even if it was a single stall, 13 feet wide. It would still have to come down and hit our well. We cannot move the well, because if we move it anyplace else, it will encroach on either the wetlands or my septic. So it has to stay where it is. The septic, I just replaced twice, so I'm not doing it again. FedEx drove over it. So that's staying put for now. And if you look in the back of the property, there, again, this does not really show you the topography of how crazy the incline is, but it drops off relatively close. I wonder.
Put it on in the GIS. Yeah, you can put the contours on.
An astronomical cost to fill that in and do it, and it
Yeah.
makes sense.
The layers.
Appropriate to be built anyway, for the house.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, it drops off significantly. Which again goes to the astronomical cost of filling, but also it's poor soils, period, and it goes right into that wetlands.
Septic's down there, just, how would you put it over there? It doesn't make any sense.
If you put it behind,
Put it in the driveway,
the decline, because it's a walkout basement, the decline down, I've already checked with an engineer because I want to put in a ramp, and they were like, that would be laughable, because you would have to go 50 feet one way and then, back, in order, just for the decline of the property going down. To meet the criteria of the statute and whatnot, I will say the first two criteria are intertwined. So the grant of the variance won't undermine the spirit of the ordinance, mainly because the buffer zone is already in place. We have a ton of deciduous trees, and as the other plan showed, and we don't bother the wetlands at all. So, can I zoom in on this? Yeah. Like a little lake here. A little pond, not a lake. But, so, sorry, I clicked my thoughts. Yeah. So the grant of variance will not undermine the spirit of the ordinance, nor be contrary to public interest because of a few things. One, a garage would be consistent with the neighborhood. This is all residential neighborhood with the exception of the apple orchard and Rossview Farm that kind of sandwiches this. But even them, they have houses, residential houses there too, and they all consistently have garages. Also, you cannot see my property from Carter Hill, the public way. The only people that would become, if this was an unseemly property, the only people would see it would be the people that pass by on Villanova Drive that live there. But I am hiring a actual reputable contractor who has built, I don't know, 100 houses.
and title person for years.
Yes, that we've worked well together. Yeah, and so I've seen his work and I really appreciate it.
I think I actually saw your house when it was foreclosed.
Oh yeah.
Before.
Yeah.
Before you.
They all were foreclosed.
Yeah.
By individual banks, which made it very tricky. I was also one of the people involved in cleaning up the legal aspect of it. So, yeah. The substantial justice is this won't affect the public in any way. We're not asking for additional use or services to be given to the property by way of this garage being built. The unnecessary hardship is we just cannot put the garage in a different location on the property that I've been explaining. So it's, yeah.
Any questions from the board? Thank you very much. Is there anyone who wishes to be heard either in favor or in opposition to this appeal? Is there any comment from the planning department?
Nope.
With that, we'll declare the public testimony portion of the hearing closed, and I will invite the board to discuss the case, starting with Ms. Perkins. How do you see this?
I have no problem approving this. I'm familiar with the area. The topography is obviously a hardship. And there are limitations between the well, the septic, and the land are good reason to allow for the variance.
Laura?
Yeah, I don't have any issue with this. I think the garage might be slightly oversized, but no matter what size you put there, you're going to encroach into the side setback, and clearly that's not going to bother anyone.
Okay.
I agree. I just add the location of the septic also creates a hardship.
Yeah,
I agree.
I agree with my colleagues. Would anyone care to make a motion?
I'll do this one for you. I move to grant the variance from section 28-4-1 D3 and section 28-4-1H to allow for a 25-foot side setback where 40 feet is the maximum side setback allowed at tax map 51Z lot 1817 Villanova Drive in the open space residential district, because all of the criteria under RSA 67433 have been met based on record before us, and I move to adopt the applicant's proposed findings as the board's findings of fact.
Is there a second?
Second.
I think she beat you.
It's okay.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? The vote is unanimous. The variance is granted. Do we have a motion to
So
approve the
moved.
June 3rd? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Do we have a motion to close the
So
meeting?
moved.
And is there a second? You're welcome.
Second.
All in favor,
You're
please say
blaming.
aye.
Aye.
Aye. The meeting is closed.